This is BL in the air. My name is Shy,
And I'm Alex.
and we have done it. This is our 20th episode. We can't believe it.
Oh,
um,
it feels like we just started.
I know it really does. 20 episodes flew by very fast, and yeah, we've done a lot in these last 20 weeks here. So this will be our season finale, but don't worry, we will be having another season coming soon in the next couple months. But we thought we would take a couple months off to catch up on shows, all of that. So
Survive the holidays.
yeah, survive the holidays mostly. So um yeah, we'll do a couple like, mini episodes here and there to just kind of fill you in on what we're watching and all that. But yeah, we have had a great season. We thought we would go off with a bang? Not really.
Be a bang of sorts.
A bang of sorts, yeah. So, before we get into the content of the episode, Alex, what is in the air with you right now?
Um, Vice versa. We've talked about it on and off, I think, over the season. And so I
Mhm.
finally started watching it like a week or two ago, and I kind of love it so much. I forgot how much I love Jimmy C. I don't
Yeah.
I love them so much. I will say I have so much problems with the show just because the product placement. There is so much product placement.
It's the worst and vice versa than I've ever seen it ever.
It really is. It's so bad. Like, did they not have any funding outside of the product placement for the show?
I don't think so. 'Cause like, I mean, the show looks very pretty. So I'm like, oh, maybe I think they had to do all this like ad stuff just to pay their color corrector person, but
The colorist,
yeah, the colorist.
which I didn't think was a real thing, but I actually saw something on Twitter completely unrelated to like BL or anything, just talk about like a colorist. I'm like, in like
Mhm.
movies, and I was like, wait, that's a real role?
Yeah,
Which
color
shows how much I
correction is
know.
so hard. Like when I've done like film stuff in the past, the color correction is like the one thing where I'm just like I don't know how to do this. Like it's too difficult. Cuz like once your eyes like train to whatever color your screen is, like
Mhm.
you get used to it and then you don't realize how like crazy things end up looking. And so it's always like I always hated doing it cuz I would come back the next day and I'd be like what the hell was I doing? Like it looks insane.
Yeah, I definitely haven't had to do anything with that. The most I have to do is like with color with my job. I've had to take like an official like color matching test, like to be able to like differentiate colors in
Mm.
like an order.
Yeah.
And I got near perfect on that, but like to actually like do anything with that, I don't think I could.
Yeah.
But will say I think with the show it's kind of interesting that they focus on like Jimmy C and like this alternate universe, but they don't really like they I would have almost expected them to focus on both them and then like Nanon's characters over in like the other universe. I'm curious what
Mhm.
they're doing.
Yeah, that was kind of my main well, one of my like disappointments with the show was like I loved the concept, like the whole sci-fi thing, and I wanted to see what was going on in both universes, and I wanted to them to like, be working on getting back or whatever, because it's like a body switch universe switch type show.
Mhm.
But then like the whole show they're just like, let's make a film. And it's like no, I don't really care about that.
Yeah.
Like, I wanna see, like, what you're doing, I wanna see what, like, Omen and Anand's doing, like yeah.
Yeah, I also could care less about the film. But, like, I do like, I love watching Jimmy flirt with C.
Mhm.
Even though he
Yeah.
is so wishy-washy about it, like, he flirts and, like, the moment C starts to give in, he's like, "Just kidding. Abort, 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 abort." I'm like, "Dude, you can only do that so many times." Um,
Yeah. Yeah, I do, I love Jimmy C, and I do need more shows from them 'cause, there's I mean, that one, Last Twilight, I'm like, "Okay."
I
I
think we're
wish there
getting one in 2025.
Yeah, I think 'cause so they I guess here's a little bit of BL news. I think so Jimmy announced that he was studying abroad and taking a break from shows.
Sort
Is
of, yeah.
that
He talked about how he was looking to study abroad, and it's either gonna be in Switzerland or America.
mm,
Which, hello, Jimmy, please come here. Um,
yeah, could you imagine?
but he put the fans online in such a spiral that the next
Yeah,
day he had to be like, "Calm down, guys."
yeah. Like, I think we'll get another show from them before,
Yeah,
the
he
breaks happen, but
he teased it, so
mhm.
I think we're gonna get one. Next month, we should get GMMTV 2025, which is a little
Yeah.
crazy because we haven't even gotten, like, any of the shows from, like, part 2 of 2024.
No. We'll be really looking ahead.
Was Pluto part of part 1 or part 2?
That was a part of part 1.
Okay, because I was gonna be like, that's the only show though I guess Perfect Ten Liners is gonna be the first one from part 2 then, because that's coming out at the end of the month.
That's so soon.
Yeah, I think the
Season 1 though, because
27th?
it's, like,
Yeah,
3
yeah, yeah.
seasons? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I think they're gonna film season 2 and 3 while it's still airing. It's
Okay.
gonna take probably longer than that, so I bet they start airing well, depends on if they put a gap in it or not, but
Yeah. Well, I'm glad I mean, I'm hoping and praying Jimmy C don't just, like, they give us something before they dip for a bit and do their studies and whatnot, which, like, good for
yeah.
them, but I need, like, one more show at least.
Yeah, I think we'll get at least one more show before they dip out.
Mhm.
Because I think C wants to further his studies too, so it times out well if they both just go do it at the same time.
Yeah.
Been
Yeah.
interesting to see that be a thing that, like, happens because it's what is it? Bilkin right now is also, like, studying, like, I think in the US instead of, working.
Yeah, he, like, just did, like, a big movie and then he's like, "Okay,
Yeah.
bye."
It's nominated for, like, an Emmy or something, like, it's
Mhm.
crazy how well it's done.
I've heard
Um
it's coming out on Netflix, and by heard, I think just 'cause my boss told me that, so I don't know if that's
Oh,
true at all, but
that'll be
she 'cause I
exciting.
talked about the movie 'cause I'm like, "Yeah, I really wanna watch it, but I can't find it, like, subtitled and, like, in the US." So,
Mhm.
she was like, "Oh, I heard it's coming on Netflix." So I haven't fact checked, but hopefully, I'll be able to watch that soon.
Yeah, that'll be awesome because it's not a BL, but it for how popular it is, I'm still curious to watch it.
Mhm. Yeah, I've heard it's really good. So,
So, but yeah. Jimmy C. That's what's in there with me. What's in there
yeah.
with you?
Okay, for me, I have been watching, like, the animated series for the Grandmasters of Demonic Cultivation, aka The Untamed. There's, I've been I've been, like, dying. Okay, so I don't wanna rewatch The Untamed again, um, just 'cause it's such a time commitment and stuff, but I I never ended up finishing the animated series, so I was like, "Oh, I'll watch that." And it's so good. I really like the animated series. It's very beautiful, and the story cuts out a lot of the, like, slow parts because it's, like, 20-minute episodes instead of, like, hour episodes. Um, so yeah, that's been really fun to, like, revisit the show in a different way, and some of the things they do a little bit differently too, and so that's kinda, like, fun, like, little extra content. So,
Yeah, I
yeah.
didn't know there was an anime.
Yeah, it actually came out before The Untamed, I'm pretty sure, or at least the first season did.
Okay.
I think maybe it came out, like, I don't know, a year or so before, but, yeah, there's the anime, there's there's, like, the Chinese anime, there's the show, the live action show, and then I think there is, like a there's some, like, Japanese anime they made of it too, or they're
Hmm.
making, but it's, like, more, like, cartoony looking. Um, I don't know, there's so many adaptations, which is nice because then I'm just, like 'cause then there's also, like,
Content.
the original novel, which I've read, but then there's also the graphic novel, which I'm like, I guess I could read that too, so yeah. It's nice to have so many different, like, things canon that I can consume
Mhm.
until I run out.
That is one of the nice things when there's multiple things. When you have that, like, void of
Yep.
what do I do now that my show's over? And you're like, "I'll just rewatch it in a different format."
Yeah. Yeah, and then I'm like, "Okay, I'll run out of all that, then there's fan fiction, so I'm all set," And then
Yeah.
by that time, I'll be, like, prepared to rewatch the show again. So
Yeah, I need to finish it. I've made it like 8 episodes, I think.
yeah, it's definitely like I would say I think if people like find it hard to get into the Untamed, like it's understandable. I think if you're also a fan of like anime and stuff, the animated series might be a good place to go because it is a lot more like simplified and like very action forward and stuff, and it's it's a lot easier to like kind of understand what's happening.
Mhm.
But at the same time, it's like obviously, usually you get more attached to like live action things like,
Yeah,
like
for sure.
I love the animated series, but I don't think like I think if I only watched that, I don't think I'd be like as obsessed with it as I am currently. So,
Mhm.
but yeah, I
Yeah,
would highly recommend the animated
yeah,
series for anyone who might not be interested in the Untamed, but might be interested in like the anime version.
yeah. I'll definitely finish the Untamed, the live action version.
Yeah,
I
see,
just
that's why we're taking a break.
Yeah, I'll have time now.
Yeah, exactly. You'll need
You
a
know
lot of time.
Yeah. I feel like I'm so behind on just everything because like, I'm episodes behind on Jack and Joker and
Yeah.
Kidnapped or Kidnap. I just I've been so busy. I'm ready
Yeah.
to have a breather, which isn't gonna happen anytime soon.
No. Yeah, I'm excited to get started on some of those shows as well. Now that I am not forced to watch this show that we're going to talk
Oh
about
god.
anymore.
I'm so sorry I recommended this show for our season finale.
So, okay, let's give I guess some context. So today's episode, as you've probably seen by the title, we're doing TharnType, okay? We've kind of talked shit about it like throughout the rest of this past season, but neither of us or Alex, you've watched it entirely before? Have
Yes.
like you
Yeah,
okay.
that's why I shit talk it so much is because I had to watch it the first time.
Yeah. And I've only watched like the first 2 episodes and then I dropped it because I was like, I can't do this. So I was like, okay, if I'm going to like shit talk a show, I need to actually watch it fully.
Yeah.
And also, I do enjoy hate watching things sometimes. And also, I was very curious why it was so popular. So I was like, I gotta give it a go.
I like a good hate watch too, but this was beyond hate watch for me.
This was like personally offensive to
Yeah.
me.
So,
But yeah.
if you happen to like TharnType, you probably should just skip this episode. We'll catch you in season 2. It's
Yeah.
fine.
If you like it and you're gonna be upset by people making fun of it, yeah, I know do have like a friend who she's like, yeah, I like the show, but like I recognize it's like awful and like kind of messed up and like a hard watch. Like I get why other people don't like it. So, um, but also if you are kind of like I was and you were like, okay, I'm curious about the show, like why does everyone like it, but you don't want to have to watch it yourself, then this is probably a good episode to listen to because we're gonna lay out the whole plot and everything that happens and all our thoughts.
We're gonna be able to tell them why everyone else likes it because I still don't know.
Yeah, I can make like maybe at the end once we go through all everything that happens, maybe we can have a thesis statement.
Sure.
Yeah, I'll try to collect my thoughts in the meantime, but it's a hot mess. It's not hot. It's just a mess.
I did see a comment earlier today on Reddit that said that if Golf and Mew weren't hot, that the show would have failed.
Yeah, one of my thoughts is that if like Mew wasn't so attractive, like a lot of the things he does throughout the series would be seen as insanely creepy and awful instead of like hot and like good?
Yeah, I agree, but also at the same time, I don't care how hot he is, this stuff upset me a lot.
Oh, me too. Yeah. I definitely think it would be looked upon much differently. Like yeah. It's bad either way, but
Yeah, there's a lot.
mhm.
Yeah. If you haven't heard of TharnType or you haven't watched it, it's a show from Mame. or Mamie, however you want to say it, since she apparently doesn't care. Which you'll remember the name because she also did Love in the Air, which was one of our early episodes and where the name of the podcast comes from, um, which is
Mhm.
wild to me. And more recently, Love Sea.
Mhm.
And I don't know how we went from like TharnType to Love in the Air because like Love in the Air has some problematic moments too, like for sure, but like nothing compared to this.
Yeah, I know, it's like I feel like it's miles different.
Yeah,
Like, I don't even I agree. I don't know. I mean, it's definitely, like, it's progress, I guess, like,
I
you
guess
know
because this came first. Yeah.
yeah, this is first, and it's not great, and then I think she's gotten better with her stories afterwards.
Hmm.
I think if I started with TharnType, I probably wouldn't have watched any of her other shows, but luckily I
No,
saw Love in the Air first, so I was like, "Okay," like,
I
you can go
think if
back a little
TharnType,
bit.
yeah, I think if TharnType was my first BL, since Love in the Air was my first Thai BL, I think if it had
Mhm.
been TharnType, which is what was being pushed to me on social media, I think
Yeah.
I would not have gotten into Thai BLs. I think I would have immediately dropped them and been like, no.
Yeah, I agree. I think this was a lot of people's first BL,
Mhm.
because it's a little older in Thai BL terms. It's 2019. I feel like the BL boom or bubble, whatever, is was like 2021-ish. So it kind of predated a lot of that.
It is definitely a different era of BL, and I understand that as far as some of the context of what people got away with on these shows. Um,
Mhm. It does remind me a lot of, like, if you ever read, like, BL manga, I feel like a lot of it is like this. Like,
oh
it's just,
no.
like, a lot of non-consensual or, like, questionably consensual stuff happening, and so, yeah, that's what, like, the show reminded me a lot of. I was like, "This is just, like" it's more similar to how, like, mangas and manhwas are and stuff,
Oh,
which
that hurts my soul.
yeah, I mean, not all of them, of course, but,
Yeah.
I do see that more commonly, like, in that space than I do in, um, like, drama sphere.
Mhm.
I definitely think it is there's a reason why I don't think TharnType would've been made today, you know?
Yeah, I can't imagine it being made today.
No,
I
especially not
mean,
as big as it became.
yeah, because like, I look at, like, the other, like, major red flags, and I'm like, Ming is in my stand-in is, like, a rough red flag, but, like, I don't know, I can forgive that a lot more than I can forgive what happened in this show. Um, and it's
Yeah, I'd agree.
and, like, even, like, Vegas Pete, like, I don't know, I guess it was still consensual in the end, right? Um,
The thing
it
about
just
those
didn't.
shows, though, is it was like, okay, mafia drama and,
Yeah,
like, another, like, sci-fi not or, like, supernatural, like, crime kind of drama,
yeah, and
and
I mean,
whereas
I
this
guess
one
they
is
were
just, like, slice of life like, college, and it's like, "Okay, that doesn't really belong here."
yeah, and I guess, like, we knew, like, Vegas is, like, a terrible person, right? Like, they weren't pushing, like, "Oh, this is a cute little relationship in the end." It's like, "No, this is fucked up," and we just were accepting that it's fucked up because everybody, including the characters, knows it's fucked up.
What drove me crazy throughout this whole show is, like, Tharn, who's played by Mew, he's the one doing the fucked up things the whole time, yet he's constantly framed as the good character, or he's such a nice guy, or he's, like, he's constantly framed, like, as being in the right, and he's, like, one of the
Worse.
worst characters.
Right? I It was really interesting. So I watched this back in like early last year. Like it didn't take too long for me to watch this after I got into BLs. And because it was pushed so much on me. And like I deleted so much after the first episode from like my brain because everything I remembered that made me mad happened in the first episode. Um
Yeah.
and like after that I was like, but I remember like I didn't hate Tharn that much outside of like this one moment and then I'm like, no, like it doesn't get better. What happened to my brain?
I know. It's because he's handsome, you, like, forget about it.
Right? Because I will say I love Mew and Toll together because, they are a real couple and not just some ship. So, like, the content did you see Mew's post recently about Toll's birthday?
I think so. What was it?
Oh my god, it was the cutest photos on Instagram, and then, like, his gift to him I guess Toll really likes New York, and so Mew bought, like, this, like, artwork. It was, like, a pen drawing, but, like, it's huge, right? Like,
Oh,
it's
yeah, okay.
massive,
That's
right?
what I saw.
Yeah, and it was, like, 100,000 baht or something like that, which is, like, $2,000-3,000. Um,
Yeah.
it's so cute. Those 2 together and, like, the photos of them together, oh, it's so good.
Mhm. I know it's hard because like, I like Mew a lot. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know him that much as a person, but, like, what I've seen, like, him and Toll are really cute, and so it's like, when I see him in the show, I wanna be like, "Oh, it's Mew," but then it's like, "No,
Mm.
it's Tharn."
Yeah, and so the other main character is Type, and that's played by Gulf, who doesn't really do BL anymore as far as I can tell.
Mm-mm. Yeah, I don't
He's
really know,
been
like, anything about him, so
No, because he had, like, a scandal that was really stupid about him, I think, like, dating a girl or something like that, and, like, whatever. Um,
Mhm.
I I am unbothered by those things.
Yeah.
Um, but I think it was, like, a really nasty one, and so he stepped back from, like, acting for a while, and it looks like this year he's gotten into some, like, licorne or something. So,
Yeah, I kinda had this perception of him too, like, I knew he would been in some, like, big scandal, but I didn't know anything about it, and then I tried looking it up, like, when I watched the show, and all I could find was, like, yeah, he, like, had a girlfriend or something, and so I don't know if that was, like, the worst thing he did, because to me that's not a scandal, but so if there's something we've missed, I apologize, but yeah, I was just kinda like, "Okay, whatever," like, so what if I don't care if me and Golf, like, don't get along in real life, like, that's not a cancelable offense to me, you know?
yeah.
So, those are the main actors, at least there's hella side characters, but we figured we would just get to them when we get to them. You don't really need to worry
Yep.
yourself with them right now.
Yep. So the show aired end of 2019 and into, like, the first week of 2020. The short summary to explain the show is that Type is homophobic as hell. Um, I don't know that I've met somebody who hates gay people the way he does.
No.
Um, and naturally, that means he gets stuck with a roommate named Tarn, who is gay,
Yep.
and somehow they end up together.
Yep,
And
that's
that's
the summary.
yeah. So to actually get into the show, though, our show starts with Type doing a voiceover of how he's a freshman and he's living on campus and how great his life is, and he's just talking all this positive stuff, and then he ends it with, "By the way, I hate gay people," or "I hate gays." It's not even like gay men or like gay people. It's just gays. I don't know if
This
that's a
was
translation thing or what, but I'm just like, it sounds so awkward.
It was honestly, this was so funny because I was just like, "What the fuck?" Like, oh, that's just okay,
Yeah.
interesting, like, way to introduce yourself.
Yeah, it was such like a nice positive like intro and then just I hate gays. I was like, "What?" But that's like his defining personality trait too. Like
Yeah, I've gotta say I've never met someone whose core personality trait is hating gay people.
right? I
Like it's a
know they
hobby for
exist.
him.
Yeah. It's definitely one of those things where I'm like, I know they exist, but like I literally have not had to interact with them, thank God. And so like seeing it like so bluntly in the show, I'm like, what is happening?
Yeah.
And then that's not the villain of the show? Like what?
And what's even worse is that as the show goes on, Type becomes one of the only characters that I, like, kind of root for, you know?
Right?
Like, I hate that I'm forced to side with Type throughout most of the show.
I
And the first thing we meet of him, he's like, "Hi, I'm Type. I'm a freshman. I play soccer, and I fucking hate gay people. I fucking hate
yeah.
gays."
I will say once you learn why, it's like, okay, if you get some therapy, like that
Mhm.
would go away and then he'd be actually a good person. He had a little bit
Yeah.
of temper issue, but outside of that, like if he got some therapy, he would actually be a good person, you know?
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
somehow our homophobic type is one of the least offensive characters in the show. So that's where we're starting.
Yeah. You know who's the best character on the show? Techno.
No. No is the best character.
He's the only one who's actually a good guy, I swear.
So he's Type's like
Best
best
friend.
friend in
Yeah.
college. His name's Techno. He goes by No a lot of times, but he's genuinely he carried the whole show on his shoulders. He was the
He
best
did.
character by far. But yeah,
So
I thought that too.
so but anyway, so the for Type, the joke's on him though, because of course his roommate is gay.
Yep.
My note here was honestly, who cares about the homophobe? Imagine being Tarn having to live with someone who's so openly homophobic.
Yeah.
And
It it's a
hmm?
rough start for these two.
It really is. Because like Techno somehow like finds out that like Tharn is gay, even though like Tharn's open about it. And so
Mhm.
like Techno comes like running to like Type and is like, "Your roommate's gay, oh my god!" And Type's like, "What the fuck?" And so Type just goes to the dorm and like confronts them because they've been in school for like 3 or 4 weeks or something like that. And
Mhm.
somehow Type didn't notice. I don't know. Um,
Yeah.
and Type like confronts Tharn or Tarn and is like, "Are you gay?" And Tarn's like, "Yeah." And and Type looks him straight in the face and goes, "I hate gays."
He's very at least he's very forthcoming. I'll give him that, I guess.
His angry face makes me so mad though.
Oh my god. I honestly I agree. He has maybe the most punchable face I've ever seen.
Right? So like I've watched like interviews with him outside of the show and he's fine, he's attractive, whatever, but there's something about the face he constantly makes in the show that is like he's constantly smelling something bad, but he's like super mad about it.
Me
And it just triggers me.
me too. It's awful to look at, honestly. Like he's an attractive guy, sure, but the face he's making is just I just can't. I get annoyed looking at it.
I do too. I get so mad. So Type demands that one of the two of them moves out and Tarn is like, not my problem. Uh, so then Type tries to switch rooms with like anybody. But like literally the whole building's worth of dorms turns him down.
Mhm.
And he's got like angry face the entire time that he's asking these people.
Yeah,
and and I just like, oh god, his face made me so mad.
I know.
So so I guess we had already met Techno for like a brief second, but we didn't really like meet him. He came in and said, "Hey, your roommate's gay," and then dipped out again.
Yeah.
And then I think he was helping Type find these trying to
He
defend the rooms.
he's, like, there to balance Type out a little bit.
Yeah, which Techno's played by Mild, who I don't think I've seen in anything else. Apparently he's in Triage, but I haven't seen that.
Mm.
But yeah, I don't see anything else that I recognize. So, but I love him though,
Yeah,
honestly.
I do too.
And then the last room that Type tries to switch with is Clue? How do you Cluey?
Yeah, Chloe, I think?
Cluey, yeah. And Cluey has a roommate who is a total Korea boo.
Yeah.
His name's So. Um,
Yeah, I definitely thought he was Korean originally, but he's not. He just really
yeah.
is into K-pop and stuff.
So Cluey is played by Mawin and So is played by Run. I love them, but also I don't think we got closure on their storyline.
No, they kinda just dipped out, like, halfway through the series, and then we didn't see them again until, like, maybe the epilogue.
Yeah. So yeah, so Chloe has like this Korea boo who's like he's like doing like K-pop dances or something in the background with like headphones on and just in his own world. Like half the time he's just screaming at his laptop going Oppa or like Nuna and it's like Oppa doesn't even make sense here, but like sure
No.
dude. Um
Also, I love his, hairstyle.
yeah.
It's very, like, 2011 K-pop, like,
Hmm.
full bowl cut, like, a huge like, half of it is, like, bleached. It's a beautiful, honestly.
Yeah, it actually makes this BL like feel older than it is to be honest because of the hair
Mhm.
is so much older. Um
I know, and then those posters I think he's, like, a one-on-one poster or something, and I'm like, "Oh, that's, like, not that old, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I was like, maybe the show is set in, like, 2012 or something, but it's not.
No, they just gave him a very outdated K-pop haircut.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm here for it. Let's bring it back.
Yeah. And then, okay, so Type has a dream that he confronts Tarn about moving out, and like Tarn like threatens to like screw him.
Was it a dream?
Well, okay, so that's where I was confused for a minute. Because at first I was like, dude, already?
Yeah.
And then he like wakes up and I went, oh, okay, no, that didn't happen. Got it.
Mhm.
So we already Type already has this fear that this is what's gonna happen, which is like, yikes. Um,
Yeah. Will come true.
and And then, like, Tarn's in class, and, like, they, like, cut to somebody in, like, the back of the class just glaring, like, at Tarn, and they make no explanation for it. They don't ever acknowledge it. It took me until episode 11 to realize who it is.
I was also so confused about this too. I literally have no idea. They don't explain it. And
No.
okay.
So, it ends up being a character named Tom, who's played by Hitter. Hitter. Um, and he has his reasons for glaring at Tarn, but, like, the fact that it happened so early in the show and then they just don't acknowledge that again. Um,
Yeah, it like kind of won't come back literally until episode like 10. So,
yeah, and nothing happens, like, in the classrooms really until then, because it was 10 or 11, I guess it was 10, when Tarn, like, talks to him in the class, and I went, "Wait a second."
yeah, they will like kind of briefly bring up their situation, but like it's like in the beginning of the show and it's to a point where you're like still trying to figure everything out so you don't really remember it, you know.
Yeah, I don't remember them specifically being like, "Yeah, it's my classmate that sits behind me that was glaring at me the other
Yeah,
day."
no, they definitely
No.
don't lay it out that simply.
So that's where I was like, okay." And then Type and Techno are making this plan for Type to be like the worst roommate ever. To make Tarn wanna move out, which Techno, please, you can't like Techno's trying to be that friend who's like just letting Type like vent, and he's like, "Yeah, we'll do this and this and this," but he's like unserious about it, and Type's like, "No, I'm actually gonna go do it," and Techno's like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
He's like, "That's not what I meant for it to happen."
No, it's not the best plan.
No. So then we flash back to 3 weeks previous, which is like move-in day, and like Tarn and Type move in, and uh like everything's fine. They get along great. Like they're having a good time. Like it's fine, whatever. I'm like, cool. And then it's like flashback to now or flash forward back to now. And Type is literally just destroying Tarn's stuff, like ripping up posters and like trashing everything and like deserved on the posters, I will say, because it's the 1975 and Matt Healy sucks. Um,
I was also confused what like Tharn has like 4 1975 posters hanging up. I'm like, who likes them that much? Like this is fake.
like even in like 2019, like come on.
Yeah, that's unbelievable, honestly.
Yeah, but also if I was Tarn, I'd have gone to like whatever, like the head of the dorm or whatever is and been like, he literally destroyed my private property. Like he's got to
I
go.
to like the police because I literally think this constitutes as a hate crime. Like this is like
Yeah,
straight vandalism for on the grounds that you're gay.
yeah,
Like
no, for
this
sure.
this honestly this like really upset me because I was like I feel like I just like I don't know, I really like value my stuff and if someone was like breaking my stuff and like ripping up my like my band posters and stuff and like you know, sprinkling chips on my bed. I don't know. I would have been like so mad, but Mew doesn't or not Mew. Whatever the fuck his name is. Tarn.
Tarn.
He yeah, he's like kind of I don't know. He's like not bothered by anything during the show. So,
Yeah, I feel like he's somehow conditioned himself to just not react to anything because
mhm.
reacting escalates, I guess. But
Yeah.
also laying down and taking it clearly doesn't work for him either.
No.
So I will say Tarn does retaliate and he trashes all of Type's stuff.
Mhm.
And Type's an idiot who didn't even process that that was an option apparently. Because he's like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "The same thing you did." And it's you can see that the Type's like, did not cross his mind that Tarn would do anything. Um,
No. He's like fully head empty.
Yeah. And then my favorite though is Type steps on like a tube of lube and gets so mad about it. And so Tarn's like, "Oh, but here's a condom," just to literally like antagonize him more.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like, wow, worst thing that can happen to you is stepping on a tube of lube. Like,
Right? Like honestly cleaning that up would be freaking awful, but
yeah.
like yeah. Type is so extra. Like only gay people would use lube, like really. Um
Yeah. Also,
my
it looks
guy.
like a super glue bottle.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know if I've seen lube come in like a container like that. I think they just
No.
used like Gorilla Glue or something, but anyway.
Yeah. So then Type is continuing his "I'm gonna torture Tarn until he moves out" trip, and he throws a party in the room to annoy Tarn. And Tarn walks in because he's like out why this is happening, and like they're like laying on his bed and eating in front of him and making a mess on his side. And so Tarn just walks in and just like invites himself into this party, which it's party is like a loose term here because it's Type and like Techno and like two other friends. Um
Yeah. And they're like sitting on like Tarn's side of the room, like on his bed and stuff, and it's just like stupid.
Yeah. And it's really funny too because Tarn's like, "Why are you on my bed?" And like the one friend is like, "Oh my god, Type fucked me over. Like I had no idea. Like he said this was his side of the room."
Yeah.
They're all like, "Type, fuck you." Like totally. And I'm like, I love this that everybody's like not putting up with this shit.
No.
And then I don't even know what Chloe and So were doing, but apparently they did something cute because I ship them now. Um,
I think that's when I think Type like leaves and he like goes to buy snacks and then like Tarn
oh
follows
yeah, yeah,
him
yeah,
and
yeah.
then they're like Chloe and So are I think they're like crouched behind like a trash can or something like because Chloe's really like nosy about their fights and stuff and so he's like being nosy again and then So's I think just supporting him being nosy.
Yeah, so Chloe is older than them by I don't know how much by, but at least a year. He's like a grade ahead of them. So he's kind of like adopted them as his children, but also I'm pretty sure he's just here for the tea.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
So's just into Chloe, so So's just gonna do whatever.
Yeah.
And I love that he's like talking in Korean like half the time, and Chloe's like, "I don't know what the fuck you're saying to me, dude." But
Yeah, literally.
they are really cute in all of their scenes.
Mhm.
Then Karen kisses Type on the cheek for what I don't know why. Because they went to go get snacks. Um, and then Type goes to punch him, and Tarn literally just grabs his hands, like in mid punch.
Yeah,
It's just everything happening is just so toxic.
it is.
I hate all of it. Like, why is Tarn kissing Type?
I don't know. I mean, it's to aggravate him more and stuff, but it's like, okay,
Yeah, but
not
that's
not the way to do it.
right. Like, okay, so like we already have like Type with his hate crime. And then now we have Tarn with like sexual assault. Like already like
Yeah.
this is mild sexual assault compared to what's coming, but like
Yeah.
really we're not far into the show yet. We're like barely through the first episode.
Yeah, no more. Can you guys calm it with the crimes, please? Like,
Right? And then okay, it's like the next day or something, I guess. And like Type and like his friends are like around Type's laptop and they're all just watching porn together. Do guys just do that?
I don't know because I honestly feel like this is the gayest thing in the show. Like, getting together with all your dudes and watching porn. Like, that.
It's not
Why?
like they're masturbating or anything. They're just sitting there watching it and I'm like, what's the point of that?
I don't know. I don't know the point of that. It's like watch like a like put on like The Office or something. Like what are you doing?
We need a guy on the show to explain.
I know. I feel like I see this like in shows, but I
Yeah.
don't know if it's like just a show thing or if like this is something that actually happens.
Yeah, I don't either because I've also seen it in other shows, like maybe not BLs, but just in general. And I'm like, I can't imagine sitting around with like all my girls and us just putting porn on. Like,
Fun
what?
Saturday night activity.
Right? Like, what is happening?
Yeah,
I don't understand men.
if you're a guy, please comment below if this is a thing or not. Thank you so much. You will help our research a lot.
Ugh. So my favorite part though is that Tarn walks in and they're all and like Type's like trying to like call him out for being gay or something, even though like Tarn's like openly gay, so I don't really understand what's happening here. But
Mm-mm.
and they're all like, "Oh, whatever." And Tarn's like, "Oh, I've got something better to watch," because they're watching whatever Type's porn is, and apparently it sucks. And Tarn's like, "I have some better," and Type's like, "I don't." Clearly, like panicked that he's about to put some gay like porn on, and
Mhm.
Tarn has apparently good straight porn because everyone's like, "Oh, this
Sure.
is so much better," and like he has it like at the ready, and I'm just like, What?" Again,
Yeah.
no judgment, but I don't understand.
I also don't understand at all.
And I have no idea. I literally there are no words for what is happening. Like this whole first episode was just insane. Um,
Uh-huh.
and um and then Type gets drunk and falls asleep on Tarn's bed. And then like Tarn and Techno have like a heart to heart where like Techno's like, he's not so bad. I know he sucks right now and poor Techno.
Mhm.
Techno's just trying to keep everybody like safe and happy.
Yeah, he is.
And then Techno's like trying to get like uh Type back into Type's bed. And Tarn's like, "Don't worry about it. I'll deal with him." And Techno's like, And Tarn's like, "I'm not gonna do anything to him. I don't sleep with drunk people." And it's like, okay. At that point, I'm thinking he's gonna either let him just sleep in his bed, or he's gonna just pick him up and move him over, whatever.
Mhm.
He he does the worst thing possible. He starts like Techno leaves and he like unbuttons like Type's shirt when they're alone and like he's talking basically to himself, but he admits he's attracted to Type, which is there's a lot to unpack in that sentence.
Yeah.
Why are you attracted to the man that hates you? Um,
Yep.
and Type is very unconscious right now. Like he is gone drunk, and so here's where Tarn needs some therapy. And instead of therapy, Tarn then sexually assaults Type by there's no sex, but there's unbuttoning clothes and a lot of kissing to the point where Tarn leaves a hickey. Like, dude,
Mhm.
what the fuck?
I like just before this he was like, "Oh, like don't worry, like I don't sleep with people who are like unconscious or drunk or whatever, but you're going to like give them hickeys instead." Like I think that kind of qualifies, you know?
Yeah,
I know his like I assume his strategy was to trick Type when he wakes up in Tharn's bed to be like, "Oh, like we slept together, whatever." Like, "Oh, I have hickeys." But like you don't need to go that far like to actually like, remove clothing and like to kiss him and stuff. Like it's just so
yeah, no. At this point, I was over Tarn. I was like, no. As much as I love Mew, I no redemption,
Yeah,
none.
this is also where I was like, okay, I don't like this character.
No, this is where I start to feel bad for Type, and I'm like, okay, maybe okay, we don't approve of the homophobia, especially like how fucking loud he is about it. But like also like it really sucks for him to be roommate with somebody who is willing to essay him. Um
Yeah.
like are you kidding me?
Yep. And so episode 2 starts, and of course it starts so Type wakes up in Tarn's bed, and they're, in the bed together, and Type's like panicking, and he like asks what happens, and Tharn was like, "Oh, you climbed into my bed like yourself," whatever, and like Type panics for a bit more, like whether they did something or not, and then eventually like he realizes they didn't do anything, but like, he has like hickeys on his neck now, and I don't know, it's just like bleh, gross.
Just yeah. He's honestly once he realizes it's just tickies, he's still pretty calm about it.
I know, I would have been way more upset.
I would have lost my shit.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I guess, yeah, he wasn't that like upset about it, but I would have been horrified.
Yeah, no, that would have been a hard line. I'd have been back in the office again and been like,
Mm,
"He's got to go." Like I'm gonna call the cops and press and charge something.
yep.
Something is happening. He is leaving.
But instead, so he is at his soccer practice with Techno, and Techno like does confirm that Type climbed into Tharn's bed and like wouldn't leave. And then Type kind of scolds his friend for like leaving him there like that. But then some guy comes up to them and he's like, "Hey, I'm willing. I heard you want to trade rooms. Like I'm willing to trade rooms." But then Type's like, "No, my roommate and I have unfinished business. Like, so I'll keep my room with him." And it's like, "No, you should get away from this guy."
Yeah, like there was your chance to get away
Yeah.
from drama, and no, dumbass.
Yeah. So, yeah, he could have just, I don't know. None of this would have happened if he did that, but he decided to stay in his room instead. Okay, and then this is going to seem so random, and if it seems random, it's because it is. Um, we get some two boys talking, and they're high school students, and we have no idea who they are. And one of them is like, "Oh, I really like your brother." And the brother is Techno. So, who we have met. So we're like, okay, one of the guys is Techno's brother. And then the other one's like his friend. And then they see their classmate get picked up by what I assumed at the time in my notes. I said what I assume is his boyfriend. We later find out they're brothers, but they're definitely maybe boyfriends too.
Boyfriends, but they are a little more affectionate than I'm used to, even for like an Asian show where skinship I think is more common.
Yeah.
There's
It's
some hand holding towards the end that's a little
their relationship is honestly once again one of the weirdest parts of the show, and there's so many weird parts, but we find out that their names are Tar. Tar's in high school, and then Tom is the older brother who's in college, and we don't know them yet. Although we kind of do because Tom was the one who was glaring at Tharn earlier, but we didn't like at this point watching the show, like I didn't put that together. Um
literally episode 10.
yeah, episode 10 we put it together, but not here. Literally episode 10 is when I put together that they're definitely brothers because I was so confused for many episodes. Because then they go home, and then they're at home, and then this is where in my notes I'm like, I think they're brothers actually. And the younger one, Tar, he's like cooking for the older one, but he's not really eating his food. And then in one of their rooms, I believe it's the younger brother's room, he has all of these like drawings scattered around the room, and they're all like charcoal drawings, or they're like like paintings with like black paint. So I assume it's supposed to signify evil or bad or whatever, but they just look like
Fashion.
they look like good drawings. Like I don't know. I wasn't like weirded out by it.
They're very much depression drawings.
Yeah. But it's not like he's drawing like killing people or anything like that. Like some of them are just like scribbles, and some of them are just like drawings of like people or animals, and it's in black. So I don't know. I was kind of like they could have gone a little crazier in the art department with this, I think. And okay, so that happens, and we're like, who the fuck were those people? Who knows? We'll find out 10 episodes from now. But we're back to Tharn and his friend, and they need a guitarist and a bassist for their band. His friend is named Long, and we actually don't find that out until like episode 6 or 7.
Yeah.
But we see him all the time.
Yeah, he's reoccurring and nobody names him.
No, or at least neither of us picked out his name until like episode 7, and it wasn't for a lack of trying. Like we were
Yeah.
both like, say his name. Like, what is it?
Yeah, like I don't know what happened. I don't know what edit they did where the one time that like Tarn like mentions his name they cut out for some reason.
Yeah, because he ends up being a pretty important character later
Yeah.
on, but we don't even know his name for like 7 episodes. So He's the lead singer in Tharn's band. And they're having like basically an audition for a guitarist, and the guitarist's name is Song. So that's kind of what they're up to.
Song is really cute. He's like
Yeah.
super into like not in like a gay way, I guess, but like super into like, oh, you guys are my heroes type to like Tarn and Long. They're both like, please chill.
He's like a fan of their band, but then he like ends up joining the band, but he's still just very much like, "Oh, you guys are the coolest."
That would be me. Like
Yeah.
like if I was ever to be like an actor or something like that, and I like joined a show that had like any kind of like A-lister on it that I care about, I'd be like, oh my god, do you guys know
Mm.
how great you are?
I know. I would be so like feel like I'd get starstruck really
Yeah,
easily.
absolutely.
Mhm. And then back in the dorms, Type is eating Tharn's snacks that he had left out, and then he's like sprinkling the crumbs on the bed again. Um,
He's so annoying.
he is. It's just gross. Like ew. Why are you doing this?
To be annoying, to make Tarn mad, but Tarn just
Yeah.
kind of ignores it.
Yeah. And then you said you think Tharn is a masochist?
Because he just takes it all.
He
He
does.
like
He kind of likes it. I think he
he
sees it as like
does.
flirting or something.
Yeah, he likes the attention, like the fact that he's being acknowledged by like his crush. It's the most fucked up way.
It's definitely like the mindset where it's like, you know how they tell like little girls like, "Oh, if a boy's being mean to you, it's because he likes you," which is like not good advice.
No,
But
especially in this situation. Like,
yeah, if you're being hate crimed by a guy who's homophobic, it actually just means he's secretly gay and in love with you, which is true in the show, which is the worst part. But
is it even true though?
it's
Because
no, it's not even
it's
really true.
only Tarn. So
Yeah,
I know we watch this on different platforms. I watch this on Viki. So Viki always names their like subtitler group, and the name of the team for the subtitle of this is "I'm not gay, but my boyfriend is."
that's the funniest name possible.
So real though.
But it's that is so real. Like it's absurd, honestly, but yeah. It's the way it be in some of these older shows. And then this part I didn't really understand, but I guess someone sent porn in like the group chat. What group chat? I don't really know.
So
Like,
it's a group chat with all of their classmates.
okay.
So I
Why
think it's pretty
does
normal for them to have like a grade wide like group chat. Um
okay. Because this is the only time I see that group chat.
yeah, it's the only time in this show, but I've seen it in like other shows where they have like a for like the whole class it'll be, or it could just be like for the major. So
Mm-hmm.
what could have been just like the sports science majors, because Type is a sports science major and Tarn is a some sort of music major.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure exactly which group chat it is, but it's pretty normal for them to have like a big class group chat.
Yeah. And I don't know why someone's sending porn in it,
All
but
the girls were so mad, and then all the guys were
yeah.
like, "Oh, thank you."
Yeah, like okay, make like I don't know. Whatever. Type ends up enjoying it because he's in bed and he's jerking off to the new porn in the group chat, and there's this fuck ass edit where it's cutting between Type masturbating and then Tarn bought a bubble tea and he's shaking the bubble tea, and that's like why they edited those two things together. I don't know why.
Like the worst way.
It's it's what maybe one of the worst scenes I've ever seen in my life. I'll be honest. Like, what is the comparison here? It's like there's like there's like the scene in Only Friends where I think it cuts between like two characters. It's like Boston and like some rando having sex, and then like another character masturbating, and it's like okay, like that kind of makes sense because the scenes are connected. But this makes no. It's like the same thing, but like way worse because it's like do not disturb bubble tea like this. Like has no place here. Like I don't want to think about I work okay, I'm the only reason why I'm so mad about this is because I work at a place that sells bubble tea. And so now I'm gonna think about that whenever I have to shake my damn bubble tea.
Sorry, that's so funny.
I'm like I'm like scarred.
Yeah, I think the saving grace is it was like canned bubble tea, which is disgusting. I've never found one I like because like the tapioca pearls get like so like soggy.
Yeah.
Oh, so I'm like, at least it wasn't like like a fresh like you went to the store and got like a fresh made boba.
Oh yeah, I thought it was.
Was it? I could have sworn it was a can.
I don't remember.
I
I
don't
honestly
remember.
don't remember. I think I was too busy being scandalized.
Yeah.
But
I mean, either way, it was such a because it was like with the Only Friends one you were talking about because it was like with Nick, and so it was I'd say it didn't jump quite as fast because like the jumps between the two scenes were really fast here with the shaking.
mhm. And
And
then
I
I
just
was like, I just knew that as soon as he puts the straw in the tea, I was like, I know what's gonna happen. I was
I,
waiting for it.
I just can you imagine being golf and just that scene just exists for you now? Like
Yeah,
somehow like an actual like NC scene doesn't bother me as much as like a masturbation scene.
I would agree, honestly. I
I'm like
mean, yeah.
there's something just so like odd about like a masturbation scene for me that I'm like, oh, why are we watching this?
I know, especially then because, of course, like right after Tharn comes in and Type's like clutching the blanket, but then Type insults Tharn's father. Do you remember what he says? Because I don't remember what he says exactly.
I don't remember what he says either, but it was
Yeah,
dumb.
yeah, it was something stupid because he's always running his mouth, and then Tharn gets mad and like pins him to the bed, and he like like pins on his wrists. Oh, and then what is he like?
He
Shoves his
shoved it.
hand up Type's shorts. That's what he does.
Yeah, it was so fucking weird. Like, why are you like again assaulting him? Like,
That's a
why is that
weird
your
reaction.
default?
I know, like, okay, someone insults your father. Okay, you can like, I don't know.
Punch him.
Yeah, like that would be like way less weird. But like your first reaction should be to just shove your hand up their pants.
Yeah, right. Going like up the pant leg. Like, what are you?
Yeah, it's it's fucked up, and then it's even more fucked up because Type starts having like a panic attack from this, and Tharn leaves, and this panic attack, it's like a all day thing, and at night he is having like a dream about the past, and we kind of find out that like he was sexually assaulted as a child by like a man that his dad hired or something, a man that worked for his dad when he was a kid or whatever. And so we kind of understand that like that's where the homophobia comes from, and also that's why he's like reacting so strongly now because he's been sexually assaulted by a man before. And like I just feel so like bad for him at this point.
His
Like
homophobia is still very bad, but it's like
yeah.
understanding where it comes from is again where I'm like, okay, if this kid got some therapy, we could work
Mhm.
through this part of it to where, maybe he doesn't associate the essay with all gay men, except, the trend here for
Mhm.
him. Um,
Yeah, and even like this part too, it's not even I feel like it doesn't even have much to do with his homophobia at the moment because he's literally being he's his like trauma of being assaulted was just triggered by someone assaulting him, you know?
yeah.
And I don't think it like I feel like this part it doesn't really have anything to do with like homophobia. I think it's just like a trigger, like, you
Yeah,
know.
for sure.
And it's just so fucked up. Like, come on, Thorn. What are you doing? You can't just like it's messed up.
Yeah. I'm so mad. The show
Yeah,
just makes me so mad. Like we're not even done with episode 2 and I'm just so angry.
I know. I yeah, I definitely admire the show's commitment to trying to convince Type that not all gay men are predators by showing us that every gay man is a predator.
right? Like there's nothing good about any of them in the show.
No, they're constantly like all that came out are portrayed so negatively. This show is I think earlier I called it the most homophobic gay show I've ever seen.
Yes.
So, this event has basically it's I mean, it's left Type in a pretty bad state. He's like sobbing in his sleep. And he ends up like getting sick the next couple days. Like he's running a fever and he's like in bed and stuff because he was so like traumatized. Um, and so Tharn ends up taking care of him and okay, I forgot about this. Fuck. He gives him medicine, but the way he gives him medicine, so he puts it in his mouth and then he drinks some water and then like a freaking baby bird, he gives him the water, but it's like he's kissing him and it's like, bro, you're making it worse. Like,
Being so traumatized by an event that when something triggers those feelings again, you're literally sick with a fever from like your reaction to it. And
mhm,
then Hype is just a stubborn asshole just in general because he is, as much as I kind of understand him at this point.
mhm.
And so he's too stubborn to like take the medicine. So now Tarn is literally forcing water in his mouth through his mouth. There's other ways to do that.
Yeah, like I don't know. That's like that wouldn't have even occurred to me. Like,
No,
mouth to mouth water.
I just the show.
Yeah. I like forgot that happened until right now because I think my brain's like blocked out some of these parts to
That's what
save
happened
my
to me the
sanity.
first time.
Yeah. And then after Type is recovered, Techno. So basically, Tharn tells Techno like, "Oh, pretend like you took care of him instead of me." But then like I don't know, Techno does for like a minute, but then Techno's like, "Oh, actually, Tharn was the one to take care of you. I didn't do anything." So.
Techno can't keep a secret to save his life.
No, he pretended like he went along with it literally for like 20 seconds and then he was like, "Actually,
He's so
yeah."
wholesome though.
He
Like
is.
if he didn't blab, so much would have gone like wrong so much faster.
Yeah, I agree. Which is probably good.
Mhm. All right. So then episode 3, Tarn and Type get along for like a whole 20 seconds, which is incredible. Um
Yeah, the record.
and then I don't understand the scene, but Type has like a dream that like Tarn was like stroking his hair or like his head or whatever. And then I can't tell if it was a dream or not a dream
Oh.
because it felt like not a dream, but then he like the next scene is like him waking up.
It probably was a dream.
But it also feels like something that Tarn would have done. So I don't
Yeah, actually, yeah, that might have been I don't know.
I have no
That might
idea.
have been real. I'm
Yeah.
honestly not sure either.
I have no idea. I just after he woke up, I was like, okay, now did that happen or not? Like,
Yeah.
are we just fine with him stroking your head now? Is that okay now?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they're trying to show that Type is catching feelings or something,
For
which
his
doesn't like make sense, but I don't
No,
know.
it doesn't.
Um,
So and then so Chloe is next door and like they share a wall and so they run into each other like out in the hallway of like Tharn and Type walking out whatever and like Chloe like calls them out for basically arguing like an old married couple, which is kind of hilarious.
yeah.
And Tharn and Type then have some sort of like truce going. I guess so they stop destroying each other's stuff. And then Type at one point pretends to like be asleep to see what Tarn does at night because like he's only been essayed a couple times now. Um
God.
so like I think Tarn was like in the shower and so he comes out of the shower and he like goes and like sits on the edge of like Type's bed and like strokes his hair and calls him cute and then kisses him again. I
Stop.
need I need Tarn to stop assaulting Type.
I know. This and that makes me feel like the stroking thing previously like was real.
Yeah, because that's where I can't tell. Um,
Yeah.
but I'm just I need Tarn to stop. Like
Like
sincerely, please.
understand boundaries and more than boundaries, understand how to just be like a normal person. Like you don't just
Right?
get access to someone else's body just because they're unconscious.
Right? And it's one of those like, okay, you have feelings for him. They're, maybe don't traumatize him because you touching him traumatized him already.
Yeah.
Like he was sick for days because of it. Like that's a severe reaction. Ugh, so mad. Can't believe that they made the like gay guy the villain of the show.
Oh yeah, of course. It's really great
Mhm.
representation, thanks.
Right. Mame, what were you doing?
I don't know.
And so like Type doesn't really respond to like the kiss thing and he just kind of stays asleep or fake sleeping, whatever. It's like, oh, okay. And then again, Type is watching porn in the shower for some reason. I mean, I guess that's the normal spot to do it when you're in college, but whatever.
Mhm.
Uh, but like while he's watching, he's thinking about Tarn. So, okay, that seems realistic, right? Like,
Yeah,
I said sarcastically because Jesus Christ, no.
I know. There's no
Oh,
reason why Type should be into like Tharn, but he is.
yeah.
So I don't know.
It's this is dumb. This show is dumb.
I know. I mean, yeah. I think the idea, of course, is that he likes he secretly deep down likes these advances and stuff, but he can't admit it to himself because he's homophobic. But the problem is that like it is all like assault and stuff, and as someone who has trauma from that previously, it just doesn't actually like make sense, you know?
Yeah. Like I get that's definitely what the show's going for is like Type is not as homophobic as he leads himself to be, whatever, but like this isn't the way to go about that, right?
No.
There would have been a right way to do this, and it's not this. Like
It
I'm
just
here for
feels
an
like
enemies to lovers, but like Jesus,
yeah, it just kind of feels like he's being Stockholm syndromed into it. Or he's being
yes.
like desensitized.
If we traumatize you enough, you won't notice.
Yeah, right? Then it'll all seem normal.
Someone get him out of this dorm.
I know.
Someone that isn't Tarn. So and then Hype is like watching like Tarn like drink water and and he's like feeling some kind of way about it. Like clearly like checking him out. And he's
Mhm.
constantly like checking him out. And then like Tarn also doesn't hide when he's checking Type out. Like again, why are you making the guy uncomfortable? It's one of those okay. Clearly, I don't know if it's clearly. I hope it's clear. I'm not homophobic, right? But still, if I was like, if I had set my boundary of, hey, I am straight, and I had like a lesbian roommate, I'm like, you can do you, just don't hit on me because that's I'm not into it, right? You know,
Mhm.
like that's kind of like the normal way to go about it, right? Like I don't want the advances. Go find somebody who does, right?
Mhm.
To constantly have to deal with like your roommate like checking you out after you've like made it clear you're not interested, like regardless of like homophobic or not homophobic, that is such a problem.
Yeah.
Like
It's
that
just like
already
it's such a lack of boundaries again.
it is. Like, Tarn, what are you doing? Please stop.
Yeah, it's just like an uncomfortable living situation for everyone.
It is. Like, I can't imagine. Right? It's one of those
Mhm.
I'm like, you do you, I'll do me, it's fine, but you don't have to like constantly like I want to be comfortable like sitting around in my pajama.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um and so God, this next scene. I just Pipe is taking a shower. And for whatever reason, Tarn steals his boxers that he has like waiting outside of the shower.
Mhm.
And and then like Tarn pushed like Type tries to like he has like a towel around him or whatever and like tries to like get his boxers back and like Tarn pushes him back into the shower and then like assaults him again, but in like the worst way yet. Uh
Yeah.
I assume it was a blowjob, right?
I think so.
Like because he goes down and I don't have any words anymore.
I don't either.
I
Like it's meant to be like a hot and stuff, but it's just like
it's not.
it's uncomfortable.
Like it would have been if it was, not assault,
Yeah.
but I can't get past that. Like I don't I no. No,
Yeah.
this isn't okay. Like nothing about this is okay.
Mhm.
Um and we find Tarn and Tom again that have been forgotten since like the 2 seconds they had on scene like in like what the first episode.
Yeah.
And like Tom is late to pick up Tar, and so Tar has like a ton of anxiety over that for some reason. And like so he goes to like hide or something. Like he goes and finds somewhere where like nobody's around because this kid is like traumatized over something. We don't know what yet at this point. He just has insane anxiety. And then the two guys from earlier, so it's like Techno's brother and like the other random kid, like run into him and he like runs away from them. And and this whole
Okay.
thing with Techno's brother and this other kid is such a weird thing. I don't think they come back after this scene. Like Techno's brother does, but like the other
Mhm.
kid, I don't think they do.
I
And,
don't
like
remember him either.
so the other kid, he's like really into techno for some reason, right? And so like in the first time we meet them, like in episode 1 or whatever, they're all like the other kids like, yeah, something about like Techno's ass or something like that, right? And so
Mhm.
and then this one, Techno's brother is like buying movie premiere tickets off this kid, but like his payment is like photos of Techno scratching his balls. What is the show? Like this is insane.
That's insane. Did you even want that?
I just I didn't catch early on that this is high schoolers. Like
Yeah, I only did because of the uniform they're wearing. I was like, I think that's the same one I've seen in other shows, like high school shows. So,
yeah, I didn't catch it until they started talking at the very end about how Tar is in like a junior year of like high school or something like that. And I was like, "Oh,
mhm.
okay."
Yep.
um so yeah, so that's a thing that happened. And then Tom like shows up at the school and he can't find Tar and he sends forever looking for him and he finally texts him and Tar's like, "Oh, I'm already home." And so like Tom goes home and like scolds him for like doing that, which is valid,
Mhm.
but also
Yeah.
like I also don't know why this kid can't just go home on his own anyway, but it makes
Yeah.
sense a little bit more now, but at the time, nothing made sense about these two.
Mhm.
And then we have there's like this handsome guy like Facebook page or whatever, and and they have like two admins that like run into Type and Techno, and they're like, "Oh, Type, you're like super attractive. We want to put you on this, right?" And the two admins are part of the LGBT community. Um, and so Type like immediately hates them, and you can already see it on his face because he's mean mugging again.
Yep.
And then like the one of them is uh, a more femme gay guy. And he's like rubbing on Type a little bit, and that like
Mhm.
sets off Type. And Type uses the F slur,
Yep.
and of course they get hella mad, which valid. And like it's not going to end well for him, which serves him right for using the F slur. Like I'm not even comfortable saying that on the show. Um,
Yeah.
and I just this handsome guy page is this has to be like a normal thing on these campuses or something because that's like the plot of Perfect Ten Liners.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, I keep seeing it, but I was like, I mean,
I
maybe
saw
my university was too big or something, but we did not have any sort of like there were no like, oh, this is a known handsome guy, you know.
no, I this has to be like a Thai thing.
I think it must be. I think it honestly might be. I have like a friend who's from Taiwan. I feel like she's mentioned before too, where like, because she went to like an all girls school, and I feel like she's mentioned before where like, oh, some of the girls who were like really pretty were like kind of like famous within the area, and like the guys from the boys' school, like, you know, like
Oh God, I can't
knew
imagine.
them and like would ask for like pictures and stuff with them. I feel like I see that in Thai shows too, so it might be like a I don't know like how many if it's common in other Asian countries, but I feel like I have heard of it before.
Yeah, I can't imagine. I think it's hilarious, but it would also give me so much anxiety. I'm like, I don't want my photo taken anyway. So like, not that I would think I would end up on that page, but like the thought of even like considering that I'd end up on that page would just like traumatize me.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, I ended up at one point on my like honors college, like the head of honors college, like his blog, because I like ran into him at some recruitment thing or whatever, and I was like, and so for a while, if you Googled my name, that's what would pop up, and I was like, please make this go away.
Oh no.
It's like I don't need this random photo of me like where he caught me walking down like a sidewalk, you know. I was like, can we not?
Mhm.
So, but anyway, so of course the two admins are like hella mad at Type, and like Techno is like trying to like diffuse the situation unsuccessfully. And like
Yeah.
it blows up so much that the university board finds out about Type's homophobia.
Yeah, because the Facebook admins, they like put out like a hit piece pretty much of like
Yeah.
his picture and like explain what happened. And I mean, they're both like kind of in the wrong because like, I mean, they shouldn't be touching him and also like post like if he says no, you know, you take no
Yeah.
for an answer. But obviously, you can't call people slurs either. Like,
Yeah.
so that's quite bad. So everyone hates type now.
Yeah.
Yeah, who would have known? Homophobia, not popular.
Shocking.
Yeah. And yeah, that's how that episode ends. And we pick back up next episode with Techno trying to get Type to apologize, but Type like refuses because he's like, I didn't do anything wrong. Um, and
Sure.
the show's just annoying because it's like everyone except for Techno is always like in the wrong. I feel like all these people are bad. And Type, um, he just kind of throws like a little pity party for himself with Tarn, and then he's like, Tarn, can you turn everyone straight? Like, like, can you turn all the gay people straight? And like, of course, I was just
I was
like,
like,
that's such a
no.
weird solution. Like, I don't know.
Well, if there's no gay people, he doesn't have to be homophobic anymore. It's fine.
Yeah, that is, I guess that would be a solution, but I've never once like considered that before. So,
No, nobody reasonable would consider that the solution.
but that's how his mind works, I guess. And yeah, of course, like Barnes, like no, that doesn't work like that. Um,
Shocking.
yeah, he's also not the person to ask for that too. So
Right? You're asking the gay guy to turn everybody straight.
yeah,
Okay.
he's got no more ability for that than you do. I guess he has the ability to turn people gay, so maybe. But and then later, so Tarn tells Type that he's worried about him because he skipped classes all week, and he's like, "Oh, can you do you want to eat with me?" And Type's just like, "No, like mind your own business."
Dramatic.
And yeah, he's talking back, of course. But then Tarn like straddles him and like hugs him, and he's like, "Can you please eat like for me, whatever." And then he tells Type, he's like, "I think like you're innocent and like you can say what's on your mind." Which is like
So
I
fucked
feel
up.
like it's like pick me behavior or something. I don't know.
For sure.
Like first of all, why are you straddling him again? Second of all, he called gay people a homophobic slur. He's not innocent. Like why are you trying to be a pick me here?
For whatever fucking reason.
I don't know. Also, I don't even know what innocent like what do you mean innocent? Like do you think they made it up? I don't know.
Innocent in the witch hunt, I guess.
Yeah. And Type does end up telling him about his assault when he was a child. And then they both hug and cry. So, yeah. I guess they bonded. I guess his pick
For
meism
bonding.
worked. Yeah, they trauma bond. Um, and then again, so Chloe is trying to eavesdrop through the wall, and so asks like, if do you like agree with like what Type said? And Chloe's like, I have nothing against like homosexuals, but I think like Type had his reasons, and I like feel bad for him. because not everyone hates him. Um, which, yeah, I mean,
Kind of, I guess.
yeah,
Sure. But also he used a slur, like
yeah, like it's like, oh yeah, I can feel bad for him for being like touched in a way he wasn't comfortable with and being like forced to do something he didn't want to do, but you can't respond with calling people slurs type, but you can't do that.
yeah.
But this is also, you can kind of see this is like, so like kind of testing the waters.
Mhm.
He's like, so what do you think about gay people?
So funny.
Yeah. I wish we got to see more of them later, but we don't.
Same. I kind of forgot about them for a while.
I did too. And then the two people who run the Hot Boys page, they get called to the principal's office. And then I th- then Type is also there, and I think they're just told to solve it themselves or something. I don't really
Yeah.
know.
I
They
think
don't
they
really
were
show
supposed to
what
like
happens in there.
yeah, I think they're supposed to apologize to each other because they were both in the wrong, I guess. Because
Yeah.
also I think there's something about I think Thailand also has really strong defamation laws, like the same way that like
Mm,
Korea does.
okay.
And so I think technically like Type could have gone to the police over the defamation.
Oh, okay.
Because they do talk a little bit about why didn't you go to the police, and he just kind of like shrugged, I think, at one point.
Right.
Um,
Okay. Yeah, I
and
also was kind of questioning that too because they were talking about police, and I was like, police for
yeah,
what?
yeah, I was reading something earlier about because there's that like rumor going around about some ship from like a newer company that's gonna like sink soon or something like that.
Oh yeah.
And part of the reason nobody like has named it is defamation laws.
Oh, okay.
Apparently. So
Because like as an American, for us, we have First Amendment, and so for this kind of type of thing, you can't be like like you can't like be arrested for it. It's not like a crime, I guess, but you can be kicked out of your university if you are
yeah,
being homophobic to people. So I was kind of like, why are police involved? And like the principal's the one not doing anything. Like, but yeah, that makes sense.
yeah. So I think
And laws.
I think there's supposed to be like a mutual apology thing, but the fact that Type was already like, I didn't do anything wrong, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, because like on their way out, they both tell each other to apologize, but neither one will do it first. And Tharn
Typical.
shows up. Yeah, and he's like, "Hey, can I talk to you too?" And I guess it works because later the two of them, they apologize on their like Facebook page, and Type is like, "Oh, what did you tell them?" Um, because he's afraid that Tharn was like told him about his past and his trauma and stuff to make them feel bad into apologizing. So he's like worried about that. But Tharn's like, "Oh, I didn't tell him that. I told them I like you." So
Jesus.
all right, so they show a flashback of like what actually happened, and Tharn is basically taking the fall, and he's like, "Oh, the reason why Type had such a big reaction to you is because I've actually been making advances on him and like touching him, which is like creeped him out. And because you guys touched him like that, he got really like mad because I've been doing it too. So, the when he called you the F word, it actually wasn't for you, it was for me. So,
Can't believe
can
that
you forgive
worked.
him?" I know, and they're like,
Mhm.
"Okay, makes sense." Like, no, it doesn't.
No, doesn't make any sense.
It's like the weirdest excuse. Like, I don't know.
They just need to get past this plot point.
Yeah, and I don't, for some reason too, because he's like, "Oh yeah, I like him." Whatever. Let's just. This is kind of a show you have to watch without your brain. So we'll just accept it, I guess, and move on.
Yeah.
Um,
I would feel like Tarn was broken if he came up to me and went, "Yeah, I have a really big crush on this guy that's willingly using the F slur and is hella homophobic." I'd have been like, "You good?
y-
Do we need to get you some help on,
yeah,
like self-esteem?"
I know. Honestly, I feel like it. Yeah, it almost does feel like a self-esteem thing because like later we'll learn that. Tharn has bad relationships in the past, but
Yeah.
yeah. I don't know why this would make you like someone, but I guess
Masochism.
yeah. I guess it is kind of a stereotype in like gay shows where like you'll fall for your crush or not your crush, you'll fall for your bully or something like that.
So messed up.
Yeah. And this is when he asked Type like why didn't you report it to the police? And Type was like, "Oh, I didn't because when my dad reported my assault when I was a kid, it got to the media and he obviously didn't want attention from that, so I guess that's why he didn't report it to the police this time." And then Tharn's like, "Oh, I actually do like you though. Like I wasn't just saying that, like I do like you."
That that
So
doesn't make anything any better.
it doesn't. Yeah, I guess I mean, I feel like Type should have already known, but now he knows.
Yeah.
And so later, Techno's there. He asks Type if like Tharn really likes him. Um I don't remember what happens with this, but
I don't think Type answers because he tends to just kind of like angry stare at people when he doesn't want to talk.
yeah.
But like Techno asks because like I guess he talked to the two that ran the fan page and they like told him that
Mm,
that's why they backed off.
yeah. Yeah, basically I guess Techno's kind of in the know.
Yeah.
And so back in the dorm, Tharn's flirting with Type. He's buying him dinner. And then he's like, "Do you want to have sex with me?" JK. Unless question mark. And yeah, I guess it kind of works because like on another morning, Type he wakes up like hungover and Tharn is having breakfast and they have breakfast together. And Type just out of nowhere, he's like, "Have sex with me."
As
And I was like, "What?"
he says that like as a way of like I don't want to owe you anything, and that's so like fucked up.
Yeah. So yeah, because he's like, "Okay, I'll do it to like settle up with you." But that if you feel like you owe someone, I mean, you could, I don't know, take him out to dinner or something, or like like there are other ways to settle up. You don't have to go right to this.
Yeah, also if you're as homophobic as Type is, having sex like that is not gonna be any kind of appealing.
No.
Like that's gonna be way more traumatic than anything else has been so far.
Yeah, but once again, brain empty. I mean, I mean, throughout this whole thing, I think you're supposed to think that Type is secretly into it, but it just doesn't make sense logically.
No.
But I don't know. I guess this is his way. I feel like this is his way of like absolving any sort of like accountability for him actually wanting to have sex with Tharn. Like, maybe in his mind, he's like, "Oh, if I say that I'll do it just as like a favor or something, or as like, to settle the score, then I don't have to admit that I actually want it." You know?
Yeah,
Which,
that's one way of doing it.
yeah, which I think is kind of the take there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, and Tharn's just like, "Who's gonna top?" And Type is like, "You. I'm just gonna lay there." Which I thought was kind of funny. Like he answered so quick. Like he's like, "I'm just gonna lay there." That works out because Tharn's like, "Oh, I always top." So okay, cool.
Okay.
Good to know. And yeah, I guess they have sex. They don't really show any of it. They basically they like at first Type doesn't want to kiss, but Tarn's like, "Oh, I'm not gonna have sex with someone who's not gonna kiss me." So he's just like trying to kiss him for like 20 seconds, and it's just like fish kisses until Type starts kissing back. Yeah, and then it like cuts away. So I will say, like, I think at the time this show was very spicy considered, but like today's standards, it's like, I mean, there are like no sex scenes really. Like it's kind of tame.
Honestly, the like shower scene with like the blowjob is like the spiciest thing that happens this show.
It is because all the rest of the scenes are like a cutaway type situation for the most
Mm,
part.
yeah,
Yeah.
but that was definitely like out there for 2019.
Yeah, and I think that's the reason why the show was so popular because before this, like the shows that were airing, I don't think a lot of them had, you know, explicit like sex scenes in them, and they definitely a lot of them didn't have the two characters already kissing by episode 4, That's pretty soon in the series. So if I
It's
had to make
crazy.
an estimate on like why the show got so popular, I think that would be the reason.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy how far we've come just in like 5 years. Because if you look at like this at the end of like 2019 and you look at like 4 minutes that just came out,
Oh my god, yeah. It's like a world of a difference.
it really is.
Mhm. And then afterwards, Tharn is saying that like the first time he ever slept with another guy is when he was 14. It was with an older guy at his school and he was on bottom and it wasn't a good experience. And so I think at the time he kind of like questioned, he was like, "Oh, maybe I'm not gay because I didn't really enjoy this." But then the next time he was on top and then he realized he was actually gay because he liked it a lot better. Um,
Mhm.
and I think this part is when, or maybe it's another part, but at some part, Type does ask like, "Oh, well, maybe like you, maybe you do like it with women, but you've like never tried it before." And Tharn's like, "I've tried it and I didn't like it." So
Yeah.
yeah, but then Type swears it won't happen again, which famous last words.
Yeah.
And then later they go and get STI tested together at the hospital, which I thought was kind of fun.
Yeah. It was kind of random, but also like good on them for getting tested.
Yeah.
Generally you do that beforehand, don't you? Um,
Yeah, that's typically ideal, yes, but hey, at least they're doing it, and at least,
yeah.
that's like I guess one good influence of the show,
The
possibly.
only.
Yeah, literally.
The nurses were funny too because they were like walking down the thing and the nurses were like, "Oh, they're such a cute couple."
Yeah, right. Yeah. And if anyone cares, they were both negative for anything, so yeah.
And that would have been a plot twist.
Would have have you ever watched a show where someone gets an STI or
No.
something? I don't think
I
I
don't
have either.
I don't
I
know that I'd
mean,
want that in a show.
no, I don't either, but I think I have seen shows like a couple times where they'll get tested and I've never seen any of it come back positive, but that would be that's something for the future, I guess.
Oh, please don't. Go ahead and get them tested, spread the
Yeah.
awareness of doing that. Because honestly, regardless of what kind of relationship you have or if you're just, sleeping around as you like, whatever,
Oh,
you should definitely be getting tested frequently.
I think there might have been in the warp effect. I feel like
Oh gosh.
there was something where someone got an STI. I don't
Oh
remember. I
no.
I don't clearly remember because there's a lot of characters in that show, and I think it was like one of the straight characters or something. But I feel like
Mm,
now that I'm thinking about it, I feel like that did happen, which would make sense because that's a very like sex positive show, so they kind of showed a lot of taboo things. So
mhm.
yeah, that's the only one I can think of, but that's not BL. But anyway, um, so Techno and Type they go get pizza after soccer practice, and then Techno invites Tharn, and Tharn is like putting so much damn ketchup on Type's Hawaiian pizza.
Do you put ketchup on your pizza?
Oh,
I do.
you do? That's a thing? I
I
didn't know
don't
that was
like
a thing.
so I do, but I don't put it on Hawaiian. Well,
Yeah,
actually, no, I wouldn't put it on Hawaiian. But yeah, I put if I don't like, it's not like my go-to. Like my go-to is like ranch or like Catalina dressing, like French dressing.
French dressing.
But if I don't have ranch or Catalina, then I put ketchup on my pizza.
What the hell? Okay, ranch I do all the time. Like
Yeah.
marinara sauce I get, but and I fucking love ketchup. Let me get that straight. But I would on pizza, I don't know, man. Too like acidic.
It's like, I know I do this. I was curious. I had a feeling you didn't, but
No, that's absurd to me. Well, even if you do like ketchup on your pizza, they were like
it was too
covering the
much.
pizza
Yeah,
in
it was too
ketchup.
much.
Yeah,
Um,
I was just like that's what I do with like a chicken nugget, but yeah, not to my pineapple and Canadian bacon pizza.
yeah. Like, I'm not a big ketchup person, except like on my pizza. Like, I don't even
So
like it with
weird.
fries. Like, I'm
Oh my god. That's so like you're like the opposite of me for that. Cuz I like it
yeah.
on literally everything except pizza.
No, I put it on like my eggs and my pizza.
Eggs is weird too, I feel. I don't do that.
I wonder if this is a southern thing or if this is I'm just weird. I genuinely have no idea.
I,
Because like
I
I
don't
started
I don't either. I've like never heard of that.
so with on pizza, that definitely started when I was in school. So that was like
Mhm.
they gave us ketchup packets with our pizza for some reason.
With your pizza?
Yeah, it wasn't like I was bringing ketchup to school.
What? I've never once in my entire life got a pizza and had it come with a side of ketchup. Usually it comes with like Parmesan and like pepper flakes.
Yeah, so if I'm going to like a pizza like shop, whatever, like a Pizza Hut or like Papa John's or something like that, like it's not gonna come with ketchup. But like in school, it definitely came with ketchup because that's
Oh,
where I picked that up from.
someone needs to look into your lunch ladies because that's a crime, I think. That's blasphemous to me. If we have any Italian listeners, I'm so sorry.
I love a good Italian pizza.
Yeah. I mean, hey, eat whatever tastes good. I mean, I definitely eat some weird combinations, but
Yeah.
I just like have not really heard of that. So
I think it's really funny. But
mm,
yeah, like ketchup on a Hawaiian is a bit much for me because like ketchup and pineapple. Ketchup and ham is fine,
yeah,
but ketchup and pineapple, no.
yeah, it was too much. So I was like, if you know what, if this was me and someone fucked up my pizza like that, I would never talk to them again. But then they have sex again. So whatever Type was saying about how it'll never happen again, he clearly didn't stick to that. So he's
Yeah,
like he's like into it now, which is like good, I guess. Like he's not being like forced into it, which is a very low bar, but like, you know.
yeah. Yeah, he's definitely willingly, even though he won't like admit he's like super like the dynamic that's happening right now is very weird. Um
It is. Yeah, especially because Tharn's like, "Oh, are you free Saturday?" And Type is just like, "Oh, for sex? Yeah, I'm free." And Tharn's just like, "Lol, no." Like I was talking about something else. Like I thought that was kind of funny because like Type is just very like eagerly into it now, which again, I don't know exactly how we got from point A to point B.
yeah.
But like at least he's into it now. I don't know. I mean, it's like
It's
it's much better. Like I much prefer watching these two in their relationship and them doing things when it's both mutually consensual than previously, you know?
yeah, we literally like an episode ago, like Type literally had an all day long panic attack and then was sick for days from being like barely touched by like Tharn.
Mhm.
And now he's like, yeah, I'm fine with sex.
Yeah, I honestly like I feel that the plot or like the basis of the show of someone who's homophobic and they have, you know, they get a gay roommate or whatever. I think that's like an okay plot to explore, and I think it's okay to explore the homophobic character realizing that he's gay and like into his roommate, whatever. Like, I think there is a way to do that, but I don't think the way to do that is to continuously sexually assault that character until they're okay with it, or until they're like
Yeah.
desensitized enough to the point where they are okay with it. I don't know.
Yeah. No.
It's like the idea I understand, but I just don't like the way that they executed it.
Mhm. No, I agree.
Hmm. But here we are. This is actually kind of the part of the show where I started to enjoy it a little bit, because I was like, oh, okay. If I see them, if you, I guess, I don't know, if you just see them as like a friends with benefit, like I love like a secret friends with benefits plot. Like I fucking loved Wandy Good Day, and I feel like that was another like, oh, we're friends with benefits, but it's kind of like a secret thing. Like, but it was like well done, you know. Whereas
Yeah.
this, I was like, I didn't need all the things to lead up to it.
No, and then there's a part of this friends with benefits thing that makes me really mad later that comes up.
Yeah.
Um, but so then we have episode 5 where Tharn and Type go shopping and Tharn buys Type a present and Type uh asked where he got the money because it was the sheets, right? The bed sheets. Uh,
Um, I think
yeah.
so.
Yeah, it was bed sheets
Yeah.
because the whole that's why they went shopping is to look for the bed
Mm,
sheets because
yeah.
from having all the sex they apparently were having to constantly change the sheets was becoming an issue. Um,
Yeah.
and I guess it was really expensive sheets, and so that's where Type was like, "Where'd you get the money from?" And Tarn's like, "Don't worry about it." But he has
Mm.
a part-time job where he plays the drums in a bar, and that's where we kinda get some backstory about him a little bit because we really don't know much about him. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but, he used to play in a band, but they broke up because, Tharn was dating one of his bandmates' brothers, which is, like, a no-no.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's, 'cause, Tarn and the guy broke up, and that caused problems, and that's why the band split, and, like, I coulda told you that was gonna happen.
Yeah.
Um, and then I guess why they're still out shopping or whatever, Type runs into his friend Champ, which I kinda love that name,
I do too.
Champ.
Yeah.
Uh, and Champ's with, like, these 2 girls, and one of them's, like, immediately interested in Type, and,
Mm-hmm.
Type is there for, like, literally, like, 20 seconds before he runs back off.
Mm-hmm.
And then Tarn takes Type to the bar that he works at, where he plays the drums, and we get to meet the bar owner, Jeed. I love Jeed.
I do.
Um,
Yeah, she's cool.
yeah, and, Tarn gets drunk and kisses Type, and so this is the second time they've kissed, I guess? And then Type pushes, like, Tarn away, like, kinda gently. It's not, like, a really aggressive, like, "What the fuck are you doing?" type of thing. It's a, like, "No."
Mm-hmm.
And so then that night, Type is starting to sleep with him. And Tarn is like, "Okay," and then just tries to cuddle and actually sleep. And then so Type is like, "Never mind," and just goes back to his own bed.
Yeah. He's like sulking about it.
Yeah, I feel like Tarn, like, really overreacted to, like, this being pushed away thing.
Yeah, definitely. He's probably just
Um,
tired, you know?
yeah, and so Tarn, like, goes home and, like, visits his siblings. I love his siblings.
Yeah, they're nice.
So it's Tanya is his younger sister, and then Torn is his older brother, and Torn is played by Tong, who also is the older brother in Kin Porsche,
Mhm.
and also just a good person IRL.
Yeah, I think
Um,
he's cool.
yeah, like IRL, he like adopted like his friends like kids or something like that, didn't he? I think.
Yeah, I think his friend, like, passed away or something,
Yeah,
and then he adopted their child, and
yeah,
yeah, he just seems like a really cool person all around.
yeah. He was at the 4 Minute fan meet this weekend.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I saw a clip where he was in the crowd and
Mm.
Bible and I forget who else see him while they're, like, in the crowd, like, doing whatever, and they, like, come running over to him and hug him. It was really cute.
Yeah, it's funny because he here is, like, so different from his character in Kin Porsche.
Yes. He's such a good guy in this. It's like, he's just kinda there
Yeah, he's just for
like,
support.
a adoring older brother. Like, these sibling relationships feel so fake to me because everybody's just so nice to each other.
I feel like, Mame, she doesn't have any siblings. 'Cause
Yeah,
all
because
of the sibling relationships are, like, weird.
yeah, because
Mhm.
like, this relationship that, like, Torn and Type and, like, Tanya have is, like, what I imagined sibling relationships were like when I was like 9.
Oh yeah, because you're an only child too.
Yeah. And then I had a stepsister for 6 months and like we nearly killed each other.
Yeah. Yeah. They're definitely, I mean, maybe some siblings get along that well, but they're too nice and too supportive of each other.
Yeah, it's weird. It does not feel natural. Like I love them,
No.
but it does not feel natural.
No. Yeah. Especially like I mean I understand like because their younger sister's way younger than both of them. So I understand like if she's, pampered and stuff, but um Tarn and Thorn get along really well and I'm like,
Yeah. And
but
like there's
whatever.
this
They're all older, so maybe they've gotten over it.
yeah, I don't I have no idea. It's
Yeah.
odd, but I love them.
Yeah. I do too.
So yeah, so Tarn goes home and he's like clearly upset about something. And but he won't like talk about what, but he always goes home every time he feels upset. He's home. Um
Mhm.
and um and so he hangs out with them for a little bit and it's cute. And then he goes back to the dorms and like Type gives him a Sprite. And then Tarn's still acting cold and says he's just gonna go sleep at a friend's house. And then the TharnType books are on Tarn's desk, which is kind
Yeah,
of
very
funny to me.
meta.
Yep. And then Type buys a bunch of Sprite and leaves them all over Tarn's bed.
Like I know Sprite is like the sponsor, but like does anyone have you ever met someone who like preferred Sprite as their soda of choice?
Me?
Really?
Yes.
Oh my god. I'm learning so much about your food preferences today. Okay. I take it
What's
back.
your soda of choice?
Dr. Pepper or Orange Crush.
Orange Crush is valid, but I hate Dr. Pepper.
I like
Um,
it. Orange Crush definitely my favorite, but you can't get that like at a lot of
yeah.
places. So then I get a Dr. Pepper. But I've been
My
drinking some Coke recently. It's pretty good too.
my favorite was Vault. Do you remember Vault?
No.
Oh my god.
What?
So Vault, oh god, this might be our age gap showing. Because Vault is what I lived off of in 2009.
Like VAULT?
Yes, it was a Coke product.
Oh, it looks like Mountain Dew.
Yeah, sort of. It's Mountain Dew, but it has I think way more caffeine, I want to say.
Damn, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
I
was
have never tried this. Do they not make it anymore?
no, they discontinued it like I don't know, before I even finished college, I think. So,
No.
yeah, but that was
I want to
literally
try
all I
it.
drank.
Huh.
Oh, but yeah,
Yeah,
that
I guess for me, like, the more citrusy sodas, those are like mixers for me. They're not usually something I drink like straight up.
that's hilarious. I
Yeah.
I'm going to Germany soon, right? And the I don't know if you know this, but like Coke products, the formulas are different in like different parts of the country.
Oh, okay. I mean, I know
So,
like in different countries, Coke is. I always buy like I drink Mexican Coke because it's like
yeah.
good sugar and stuff. But is it like
Yeah.
how's it different?
So even in the US it's different. Like the North and the South, like the South prefers more carbonation. So
Oh,
our
okay.
Sprite is more or our Coca-Cola is more carbonated down here than it is like up in like the North.
Oh,
Um
I didn't
yeah,
know.
and so regionally, like the formulations are slightly different. Like it's not going to be like a whole different formula, right? It's like ratio of carbonation type of a thing.
Hmm. Okay.
And then in Germany it's different too. The Sprite is. I want to say it's also less carbonated there. And I prefer it less carbonated, so I'm excited to get the good Sprite.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, I'm like ride or die for Mexican Coke because of that
Yeah.
sugar instead of corn syrup. But
Is that like sugarcane sugar or is that
I think so. I don't know honestly. It just tastes sweeter.
yeah, in college I got like the 6-pack of Mountain Dew, but it was made with sugarcane instead of whatever they use. It was
Hmm.
so sweet I couldn't drink it. I
Oh
literally was
yeah.
just giving it away. I was like, I can't do this. Which I
Yeah.
have like an insane sweet tooth. So it was one of those like as I was giving it away, I'm like, are you guys okay? Like I'm the one who like snorts pixie sticks.
Yeah.
Um
Yeah, because it's I mean, at least like the Mexican Coke's made with white sugar.
oh, okay. So
Oh
yeah, that's
yeah.
a little different because the pure like sugarcane is like intense.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not a big like dark soda like thing, and I grew up in a Pepsi house.
Mm. Yeah. See, I grew up without soda for the most part,
Oh
so
wow,
yeah, it
yeah.
was
I
I don't
mean,
know extra expenditure, I guess, but.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
default to sweet tea.
I do love tea.
Yeah, but like sweet tea, Southern staple. Very picky
Yeah.
about my tea. Um,
Now I'm thinking about the bubble tea again.
oh no. So, but yeah, Sprite is my preferred drink.
Okay.
Um,
Good to know.
it
I was I take it back then.
was
I'm
really
glad there
funny.
are Sprite enjoyers out there. I mean, I think it's fine. It's a fine soda. I don't think I've ever
Yeah,
had a can of Sprite on its own, but
really.
it's a mixer. I don't know.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
A lot of times, so I don't like ginger ale either. So like, if I have an upset stomach, my go-to is Sprite.
That's fair. I actually feel like the only time I really drank Sprite, when I was a kid, my mom, if I had like the stomach flu, she'd give me saltines and Sprite.
Hmm.
So that's true. I guess I have.
Yeah,
That's just maybe that's why I just like associate it with like on its own with just like being sick or something.
that's really funny.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So apparently, Tarn and I have very similar eating habits. Um,
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, you guys could be friends.
I don't want to be friends with him.
Oh, yeah. Maybe not.
No, I have at least slightly higher standards than someone who's willing to essay somebody.
That's
Um,
good. Yeah, good for you.
yeah, I mean, I'd be friends with Vegas, but that's a whole different therapy session.
Yeah, it's like a different ballpark even.
Yeah. So, okay, so Type buys a bunch of sprites and leaves them on the bed for Tarn. And Tarn comes home again and is sulking again, and he like just kind of pathetically is like putting these like sodas like on the table, and he's like, "You don't have to keep doing this." And like Type is like trying to get him to stop sulking, so like he kisses him, and so naturally Tarn is just immediately happy.
It's like, okay, your boyfriend, not boyfriend yet, but like,
Friends with benefits.
yeah, your friends with benefits, he's gotta come into terms with the gay thing. He's not out yet, so like, you can't be mad that he didn't want to kiss you in like a public place.
Right? That's what I don't get. I'm like, okay, he's not publicly out. If anything, he's quite the opposite.
Hmm.
Um,
He's publicly a homophobe, so.
yeah. And honestly, even like regardless of like sexuality, if I was just friends with benefits with somebody, I don't want to be making out with them in public. Like that's between me and them in the bedroom, you know?
Yeah, that's nothing. Yeah, it's like weird for him to be upset about that.
Yeah. That's Tarn already thinks they're dating, is the problem.
Yeah,
Like in his head they're dating. It's fine.
yeah.
Um and Type like kicks Tharn or something, right? And then or like Tarn like grabs his ankle or something like that and like pushes him on the bed, and then like Type is like sulking about that, whatever. So then like Tarn like kisses Type's ankle and like the weirdest scene that should be like very sexual, I guess, but was very not. Um
I thought it was weird. I'm like, he's just smooching his ankle now. I don't know.
yeah, and we have now upgraded from friends with benefits to casual lovers.
Yeah,
Whatever
not
that
for sure
means.
what, not sure what the difference is, but like, good for them.
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know.
And and then those two go and have like lunch with Techno, who's like immediately suspicious of them because they're getting along, which valid. Techno is the only one who has any sense, and he catches on to everything.
Yeah.
Um, and then Type does this weird shit where he says he still hates gay people, but he likes Tarn, and Tarn like is happy about that, which is kind of fucked up. And this is very much the worst version of I'm not gay, I just like you. I
I hate gays. I just like you. Like,
I like I just homie,
it's
you're gay or bi,
yeah.
one of the two. Like maybe you're bi, I don't know. Um,
Mm-hmm.
like
Maybe he's asexual, but just for Tharn is what we kind of get at later, I think. But it's like I don't know, man.
yeah,
Too
but
confusing.
again, severe therapy sessions, a lot of them for both of these guys.
Yeah.
And then we jump over to Tarn and Long meeting their new guitarist. I don't remember him. I know he exists, but that's all I remember.
I think that is the one kid that we talked about earlier.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I think
The
he is the guitarist, then the random guy is the bassist who we never really talked
okay,
about.
okay.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
Who's just kind of there. Like we never really meet him. He's just there at like a couple of the gigs or whatever.
Yeah.
And then Type and Techno go eat with Champ and his female friends from earlier, from when Type ran into Champ at the mall. And then Type and Fi exchange their line IDs. And then they start texting and flirting like all night, which is so messy.
Yeah, it's very messy. Because yeah, this is the same girl who was like interested in him earlier. So
Hmm.
they like exchange their line IDs like over some like, oh, like I'll send you this recipe or whatever. But then they're flirting, and then Type gets like really into flirting with her, like hardcore. And I'm sure it's because he's gay panicking, so he's trying to like confirm with himself that he's straight or whatever.
I
But
think it's that, and I also think this is like the first time he's had attention from a girl ever.
oh, yeah, it must be. I feel so bad for her.
Same.
Mm-hmm. And then, because he's texting her so much, Tharn notices that Type is texting someone a lot, but he doesn't ask about it yet, but he does take notice. And I think this is the part of the show where they start calling Techno just No, because in my notes from now on, I mostly just call him No. Um, but No goes to band practice, and they, he kind of mentions, like, oh yeah, Type, like, Type's been spending all this time, like, flirting with this girl or whatever. And then Tharn is there, and No immediately is like, oh, shouldn't have said that, because now Tharn knows.
Because
And
again, can't keep a secret for longer than 20 seconds.
no, he's a yapper for sure.
We love him anyway.
Yeah, we do. And Type and Fi, they have a coffee date. I guess they're going like on casual dates now, and they seem to be getting along and all that. And Type goes home, and Tharn is just sitting in the dark, like on the bed, facing the door, like an absolute creep.
He's
Like,
such a weirdo.
he is. If I got home to my dorm and I turned on my light and my roommate is just like sitting in the dark, like facing the door, waiting for me to come back, I would flip.
Yeah.
I'd be like so scared.
To be fair, Type does that later to Tarn too, so
He
they're
does.
both they're both weird.
Yeah. And then he starts grilling Type about his friend, and he's very jealous. And during this argument, he ends up telling Type, he's like, "Oh, you're mine," very possessively. And Type slaps him. Fair enough, I guess. I don't know, but I mean, I don't hit people in general, but like
Yeah.
Darn is being very like aggressive about and possessive, and they're not together officially, although he likes to think they are.
Like Type made it pretty clear that they are just fuck buddies, really.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm. And then so he kind of gives the ultimatum that he says to Tharn, like, if you're not okay with me seeing other people, then like we're over. Like we can't be casual lovers or whatever anymore.
Yeah.
Which I feel like is fair for the most part. And then of course Chloe's trying to listen through the wall. Um when Type like bursts into their room, and Chloe's trying to like play it cool, whatever. Like he wasn't just trying to listen to them. But this does make me think, like, if he can hear them like fight and stuff, like, can't he also hear them like having sex?
Yes.
Because they like,
They
yeah, go
talk
ahead.
about it a little when they go to move out.
Oh, right, that's right, they do. Okay.
And they also talk about how uh Type has to be quiet.
Yeah, that's true.
So
But yeah, I was at this point in the show, I was thinking that. I was like, if he can hear so much, like, probably knows.
yeah. He's just accepting. It's fine.
Yeah.
'Cause he really like for some reason adopted them as like his.
Yeah. He's like kind of looking out for them or something. And so yeah, Type is like gonna sleep in there for the night. Um, get some space. I love how he just like bursts in though. He just like walks in, he like lays down on the floor and he's like, I'm sleeping here tonight.
And the other two, they're in their beds and they just kind of like look down at him like,
Like, okay. And then the next day, Type, he kind of sends a list of like ground rules for their friends with benefits situation. And Tarn agrees to it because, of course, the alternative is not sleeping together at all. And Type and Fi, they get coffee together again. And he's like very distracted because he's like thinking about Tarn and stuff. And his lie on why he was so distracted and stuff is that his dog died.
such a weird.
What? That's like psycho behavior.
I mean, he can't really come out and be like, yeah, I'm stressed about my fuck buddy.
Yeah, but you could just be like, yeah, I'm stressed about school. Like, I'm distracted by this assignment. He just have to be like, yeah, he was like, oh, my family dog died and we were really close. And like, so I'm like mourning right now. Like, what?
Very on brand for Type, though.
It is, yeah. um, so yeah, that's his excuse. And Fi says that like her birthday's coming up and Type promises to come. Because I think like all of her friends couldn't make it and stuff. So he's gonna go to her birthday dinner but the problem is that the dinner is at the same time as Tharn's gig, and so he can't make it to that. But he tells Tharn that he is gonna ask Fi to be his girlfriend at the birthday dinner. And Tarn's kind of like, I think he wishes him like, oh, like good luck, whatever. But you can tell he's like hurt and obviously doesn't want that to become a thing, but at least he's not like being aggressive about it anymore.
Yeah. So I gotta say, they kind of make it sound like that even if like Type and Fi end up together, that like they can still be fuck buddies on the side. I don't know if I was just understanding that wrong.
I couldn't
Because
tell either
because like with the rules, like the 10 rules, it made it sound like as long as they don't get caught, they're good. And I was like, that's so fucked
yeah,
up.
that is. I also couldn't really tell like what was gonna happen with them in that scenario, which is it is fucked up, I guess. So
Like I would be so mad.
yeah, that would have been a much worse outcome. I mean, this is all bad, but it's not. I mean, it's
I mean,
whatever.
it
It's a
kind of
thing.
ends a shitty way for Fi, but
Yeah. And so the night comes, and after the gig, Tarn is like sitting like sadly and drunk at the bar, and Jeed is like asking like what's going on and stuff. Jeed's with her husband. Her husband's there a lot. So they're like asking what's going on. And so they're at the birthday dinner as well. And it seems to be going well. Like he gets her a gift and stuff, and they end up like going home together. But then we cut to the dorm where like Tarn's laying in bed, but Type comes home and he starts cuddling with Tarn, and he like apologizes immediately, and he's like, I almost like slept with Fi, but then I stopped because like I realized that I could only think about you like while it was happening, and then I had a thought of like you sleeping with someone else, and that made me really upset. And so he's just like gay panicking really bad, and kind of realizes that it didn't feel right with Fi, and which is valid. It sucks for Fi,
yeah.
but I mean it's good that he kind of stopped this like at that point and didn't go further, and then was like cheating on her and stuff.
Yeah, I just figuring that out on her birthday really sucks for her.
Dude, she had the worst freaking birthday because so what happens is like we find out, so she's crying in her room, our friend comes to comfort her, and then what Type told her is that he's already like dating someone. Like she thinks she's like the side piece or something. Which
He's so dumb.
I know, which is way worse than it actually is. Like, I get it if he doesn't want to like come out to someone and be like, "Hey, I can't. I was gonna ask you to be my girlfriend, but then I realized I am like into this other guy, you know."
Yeah.
But that
He
is
could have
like,
kept it vague and been like, "I have feelings for somebody else."
yeah. But instead he was just like, "Yeah, I'm dating someone else." I think she like slaps him or something, which like
Yeah.
they bring up at some point, which yeah.
Deserved.
Yeah. And um sucks for Fi. Well, she's not in the show at all anymore. She deserves. I wish she would have gotten someone nice, but we won't really see her again. And like Tarn and Type are all domestic now, and they are at this point they're pretty much now they're like kind of officially together. Because like Type has realized that his feelings are beyond like casual sex, and they're more in like the romantic territory, and so they're like kind of officially dating, and they're kind of like casually kissing and stuff. So they're together, and then we get like a minute scene where it like goes back to the brothers. I thought something was gonna happen, but then nothing happened. Then we're back to the Tharn and Type. I was like, what? The editing.
I don't even remember what happens in that scene with the brothers. They're like just eating or something, aren't they?
Yeah, it's something like that. And I think one of the older brother was gonna try to go into the younger brother's room or something, and then he doesn't. Or he just like
Oh,
stops
yeah.
inside the door. And so like literally
I mean,
nothing happens. I think they're
yeah,
just like, oh, remember these two?
yeah, we didn't.
Yeah. So then we go back to our main couple, and Type's dad calls, and Type is just like trying to get permission to move off campus next semester so him and Tharn can move in together. Because if they move off campus, they like don't have a curfew and they don't have to be as quiet and stuff, and yeah, it's just more freedom. So
Yeah. Did you live in the dorms ever?
yeah, I did my first year.
Did you have a
Actually I did
curfew?
my first year and a half because I studied abroad my second semester, sophomore year.
Yeah. So did you have a curfew in the dorms?
No.
I didn't either. Like we had a curfew
No.
on how late people could like be over as like guests.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I think it was mostly like co-ed. If it was like a guy, they had to be out by like midnight or something like that.
Oh, yeah, we had
Um
no rules.
we had that. But if it was like a girl, that they could be like overnight as long as you just let the RA know. Um
Oh, yeah, our dorms were like we literally had no rules. The
oh
dorm was like really big and stuff, so I was like, I don't know,
oh
they
we
didn't like
have
keep track of anything.
yeah, we had to check in our guests. Like they have to leave their ID like at the front desk.
Oh my god, that's like
So you have
strict
yes.
security.
Yeah, so you had to leave your ID. Like, and if like it wasn't a student, like it would be like your driver's license you'd have to leave. Um,
Mm.
and so you'd have to be like go get that on your way out. And so you had to be out. I want to say it was by like midnight. But like I could come and go as I wanted. Like I didn't have a curfew. Um,
Yeah.
thank God because I
Yeah.
came in at all hours of the day.
Yeah, cause like, I mean, we had like a to go up the elevator into the stairs, you had to like scan your like ID card or whatever. So like, randos couldn't just come in, but
Oh
yeah.
yeah, you couldn't even get in the door without an ID. So I had to scan my ID just to walk
Mm,
into like the building,
yeah.
and
I
then
think
all
like
of
in my I lived in the dorms when I was studying abroad in Korea though, and there
mhm,
were it was I think sounds similar to yours where like there was no curfew for us, but like um because every floor like alternated gender, so it was like you couldn't have guys
mhm.
on your floor past a certain time. But it was like so annoying because like a lot of my friends are like queer and like some of them are more masculine looking or whatever. And
Yeah.
so constantly like we would be getting like policed and stuff about and we'd have to my one friend specifically just would always tell them like I'm a girl. And then like at some point the guy he would come in and he would like come to talk to us and then he'd be like, "Oh, you're the girl." And
Oh
we're like,
boy.
"Yeah." But yeah, at least like we had no curfew, so I was
Yeah.
coming home at all hours.
Yeah. Well, I studied abroad in the summer in London, and there was no rules to those dorms whatsoever.
Yeah.
Um, I think they tried to make it like all like the same gender on like each floor, but I don't even know if that was the case. But like the way it was set
Mm.
up for those in London was every floor, like every room, it was like a room and like a bed, a desk, and then everyone had their own bathroom in their room.
Oh, that's so nice.
Um, so and then you just like each floor shared like a kitchen.
Okay.
So so
Yeah,
it was
'cause
like that.
yeah, my dorm was like the a lot of most of the dorms here are like mixed gender, like every other room. But the one
Mm.
I lived in, it was like three wings, and then like two of the wings were female and one wing was male, and then the next floor would like alternate. And then we just had like each wing shared a bathroom, and then everyone shared a lounge and a kitchen and stuff. So
Yeah.
they truly like did not give a shit what we did, I feel. We also our RA on our floor was like she was like a fifth year senior and like super busy and really cool. So she kind of didn't care either.
That's nice. I lived on the same floor of the same building all 4 years of college.
Oh
Um,
wow. Yeah.
but it was I was in honors dorms, so and
Mm,
it was so my freshman year, the dorm we lived in, it was all freshmen, and then after that, they changed it to upperclassmen, and so I just stayed in the same one every year.
yeah. Yeah, for
Um,
us, pretty much everyone lives in the dorms the first year and then everyone moves off campus the
yeah,
rest
I
of the
just
years just because the dorms are way more expensive than an apartment like nearby would be. So yeah.
yeah, I I went to college in my hometown, so it was one of those. I was like, I'm either gonna be on campus or I'm gonna live at home, and I
Oh
was like,
yeah. It's good to
I was
meet people, like friends and stuff in the dorms.
yeah, and it was easier because like parking kind of sucks on my campus, so like if I had to leave during the day to go, like, do something, like, the chances of me getting a parking spot were slim, and, like, they were nowhere near my dorm.
Yeah, we
Um
have our campus is zero parking.
oh gosh.
Yeah, no one you can't bring a car. But it's like a walkable
Yeah,
city at least, but yeah.
they tried to do that, or they talked about doing that, at least they weren't gonna let the freshmen bring cars, and that was gonna be kind of their way of, like, easing some of the parking issues.
Mm,
Um, and then they built a parking deck instead,
yeah.
which was smart.
Yeah, it's nice because at least, like, our off-campus housing, like, I was, like, a block from,
Oh, that's
you know,
nice.
like, yeah, there was, like, a lot of housing
Yeah, so we
surrounding
have a
it,
lot of
but
housing nearby, but I wouldn't call most of it walkable.
okay.
Um, but I also like my scholarship paid for housing, so
Yeah, might as well.
yeah, it was nice because like when my senior year, I had an 8 o'clock class 5 days a week. So to roll out of bed at 7:50 and
Ugh.
walk to class and make it on time,
Oh
um,
my god.
I was just shy of showing up in pajamas every day.
Yeah, I think I took, like, one class at, like, 8:30 just because I really wanted to take that class, and it was, like, awful. I think I always skipped the Friday class because I was like, "There's no way."
That 8 a.m. class for me was a required one for my major, and there was
Ye
like 15 of us in there,
Oh
and
god,
the
somebody would've
professor that
noticed.
yeah, the professor that taught it was, like, my professor that I worked for and was, like, my mentor in, like, high school already, so, like, has known me
Mhm.
for a long time, so I could not miss it.
Yeah,
It was
that is fair.
yeah, it was rough. But, yeah.
Yeah.
I always hear about, like, these, like, curfews and dorms, and I always find that fascinating because 'cause I'm like,
Yeah.
that would've screwed me up so much because there were so many nights where I was studying until 2, 3 in the morning.
Mhm.
Oh, I'd have ended up sleeping in the Palmer Building a lot more than I did.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't live in dorms if there were, like, a curfew.
Yeah, I'd have been crashing
Don't
at
like
other people's houses.
Yeah, because when you go to college, you're like, "Oh, it's freedom for the first time." I wouldn't have wanna, you know, like
Yeah,
having, like, rules and stuff like that, like, I don't know. I can manage
yeah.
myself.
Yeah, I mean, we had, maybe not a lot of rules, but we did have, like they were more common courtesy type rules, right? Like, our first, like, floor meeting of the year we would always make rules and do, like, these stupid icebreakers. I'm like, I don't especially by, like, my senior year, I was like, "I do not wanna do these icebreakers. I'm barely gonna be in this room." Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
But there's like mandatory meeting and they like took roll and everything. It was so annoying.
Oh my god.
I remember sitting in my senior one. It was like some sophomore RA who was just like super peppy still, and I was like, give it to spring semester.
Yeah.
You're
Like,
gonna be
I've
so
been
tired.
here.
Because it was like I was like texting one of my friends that was like sitting across the room from me, and I was like, can we just get up and leave?
Yeah.
So, but anyway,
Mhm.
so finally to episode 7. So Noah and Champ hear about what happened with Fi, and they like ask Type about like who is his girlfriend. They're like at breakfast or something like that, and Tarn I think is there too.
Mhm.
And Type isn't really answering anything, and like Champ like goes off to go like buy his breakfast or whatever, and like No is he's trying to ask without asking, and
Mhm.
like Tarn and Type are like playing kind of dumb. And then when Champ comes back, like No drops it. Like I like how sensible he is about everything, right? He's like,
Yeah.
I know I can't say this in front of him, but you know.
I love to well, so, like, Tarn kinda I don't remember what they're talking about specifically, but he is kinda just like, "But what you're thinking is true," or, like,
Yeah.
he, like, insinuates it somehow, so, like,
Yeah.
No
So
does kind of know, but in a way that, like, Champ doesn't know.
yeah, so at one point No is like, is your girlfriend who I think it is? And he's like looking out of the corner
Mhm.
of his eye at like Tarn. And
Mhm.
like of course Type's not gonna say anything. And that's where Tarn, like as he's leaving, he like whispers to him and goes, "What you're thinking is correct," and then just like saunters off. It's really funny. um
It is
like this
funny, and I'm glad No knows for sure now.
yeah. It's one of those like this moment would be so cute, right? Like they have such cute moments in their relationship, but all I can think about is this is built off of sexual assault.
That's why I have, like
Just
I literally have, like, cognitive dissonance watching the show because, like, these couple episodes, like, I did enjoy them for the most part because 'cause I'm like, "Oh, I do like seeing this couple, like, get to know each other and, like, have this relationship and, like, tell their friends and stuff." But then you have to, like, remember the context, and then it just, like, taints it all.
yeah. And that's where I'm like, "Oh, it'd be cute if it wasn't because this is where we started."
Yeah,
Um,
right.
and, so Tarn and Type, they say goodbye to their neighbors, Chloe and So, and that's where they make jokes about having thicker walls.
Yeah, mhm.
So pretty sure they know what's been going on, and
Yeah.
and we have this moment where So admits he likes Chloe, but he says it in Korean, so Chloe just doesn't understand it. Um
Mm-mm.
And this is kinda like the last time you see them for, like, a long time.
Yeah, I know, I thought they were gonna get into their relationship a little more as, like, a side couple, but they don't.
I wanted it.
Yeah. I wanted it too. They're like the one healthy couple in this show, and they're not even a couple.
Yep. And then so Tarn and Type both go home for their semester break, which is, like, a month long, um, separate homes. So Tarn lives in, like, the same town as their university, and, Type is off somewhere on, like, an island or something because
Mhm.
his dad owns, like, a resort somewhere. Um, and so Type tells his dad about Tarn. It's not that they're dating, but just in general to the point where his dad's like, what?"
Yeah. It's like, "You never talk this much about, like, any of your other friends." He's like, "I don't even know, like, anything about your other close ones."
Yeah, because this comes up later, but I don't even think it's in our notes, but Type's been living with his aunt in, like, the town where he's at the university for, like, high school already, so he's been there for a while, which is why he's known, No for a while because they were friends in high school already, I think.
Yeah.
Um, and then, Type's friend Calm visits. Uh, I liked him too, I kinda wish we saw more of
Mm.
him.
I know, he's another one where I really wish we would have seen more of him, or I wish at least, like, Type apologizes to him for kind of what he does here, like, I would have liked to
Yeah.
see some closure there.
Yeah. So there's this foreign guest at the resort, staying at the resort, and he's like really into Type for some reason.
Mhm.
And Type makes it clear that he is still very homophobic.
Yeah.
Because the guy's like hitting on him at the bar, and like Type pushes him away and calls him more slurs, and like Calm like calls him out for it like later outside, and
Mhm.
he's like, because Type's going on about the gays again, and Calm's like, I'm a gay.
Yep. Boom. What you gonna do about that?
Right. And Calm's like, I'm really tired of all these homophobic remarks. He's like, I hear them all the time, and then it's worse when it's coming from my best friend, right? Like,
Mhm.
um, and he's like, I just wanted to be accepted, whatever. And then they kind of like never talk again.
No. And okay, from this point in the show, I really wanted it to be so I thought the show was going to be more about this and a more about Type's progression with self-acceptance and stuff. And
No.
it kind of doesn't get like explored.
Yeah.
And I would have loved to see like, this be like I think it is a wake-up call for Type, but of course they don't show that, so we don't really know. We just kind of see him like we don't see him be pro-gay, we just see him like call people slurs less. And
Yeah.
I would have loved to see some more progression about his character, and like I would have liked to see him like at some point, like when he comes to, be accept himself a little more, like maybe contact Calm and be like, you know, sorry for being homophobic. I was going through something and like internalized homophobia, whatever. But like it never happens.
Nope. And so Calm is just sad that his friend is the worst.
Yeah.
Um,
And maybe they never talk again. There is a TharnType season 2. I will put that out
I'm
there.
not
We don't
watching.
know. No, we don't know what happens in it, and we probably never will. So
Yeah,
maybe they make up then, but who knows?
I love myself too much to put myself
Yeah.
through that.
Yeah, I'll
Mhm.
read a summary or something, or if someone else
Yeah.
has a podcast episode talking about what happens,
Yeah,
hit
something tells
hook
me
me up.
that now that I've adamantly said I'm not gonna watch it, I will somehow end up watching it.
I know. That's how literally podcast BL in the Air season 2 final episode.
Oh god.
It's gonna be TharnType season 2. It's a tradition.
We'll see.
Yeah. I'm not too keen on it either.
No. So Tarn is with his siblings, and he tells the siblings that he's dating someone. So at least there's
Mhm.
that.
Yeah.
Um, and then Phi's friend Mai meets up with Champ and tells him she likes him. But that's also she kind of like it's too late because you didn't notice, right? Because she just kind of like dips out after that.
As she like kind of storms off, and
Yeah.
we never see her again either.
Nope. There's
So
this.
much potential.
Yeah. I just okay.
Yeah.
Um, and then we get back to the brothers, Tum and Tar. And so Tum is like snooping through Tar's room, and he finds all the artwork, and I know you're like fine with it, but it is very like alarming, like depression, especially knowing that like kid's been through it. Um,
Yeah. No, but Tom doesn't know what he went through, I think. Because
I
he
don't think
still
he knows what he
thinks
went. He doesn't know what he went through, but he know
mm,
like I think like he knows that he's been through something,
because
right?
he still thinks that his brother is depressed because Tarn broke up with him.
Yeah,
But he
I
doesn't know about the actual trauma. He's just like, oh, it was like a bad breakup, and now my brother's like mentally disturbed or something.
yeah, that's it's like he doesn't know what caused the whole issue to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I I think there's a suicide risk, and that's why like he
Mm-hmm.
doesn't let him alone in a room for too long.
Yeah, I think
Um,
so. It's very stressful
yeah.
situation.
So I think that's the biggest concern is seeing all the like really dark artwork and there's no color to anything, right? Like so clearly
Yeah.
he's like going through something. And he just won't really talk about it and kind of pretend like he's fine. Um,
Yeah.
so but yeah, so Tom does a good job of snooping and not getting caught because they definitely made it look like he was gonna get caught there for a second.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
so and then Type comes back to Bangkok and they get to reunite in their new dorm. Um, and that's where Tarn skips out on San coming over.
Um, I think it was San. I'm not
San, yeah,
100% sure though.
San I think would make sense. Um, and we don't really know who San is at this point, but he's important for like 30 minutes. Um,
Yeah. Yeah,
uh,
literally.
we'll explain him when he becomes important. But yeah, so and then Type's dad is in town and wants to meet Tarn. And Tarn's like bummed out that Type didn't tell his parents they're dating. Um, but also, why would he be surprised?
Yeah. Again, he's like still trying to like accept it himself. He's not there to like, you know,
Yeah.
like he's not gonna tell his like family yet.
Yeah, especially like we don't know if his family would be accepting at this point, right? Like we don't
Yeah.
which I don't know if we even really ever addressed that.
No, we
Um
don't.
um so yeah. It's one of those cuz that's like a opening up to the parents and coming out as gay. Like that's a big thing. Like Tarn did that when he was in like high school. So like
Mhm.
okay, dude, but like not everybody is as fast as you are with like coming out.
Yeah. He's definitely, I don't know. Yeah, I don't like how he tries to like pressure Type into like doing all these things before he's ready.
Yeah. And then Tarn and Type buy a new mattress.
Which
Congrats, guys.
was I was so happy because they're like they had, twin beds in the dorms and it was so squeaky. Like to the point they were like saying their lines and I could just hear the mattress like squeaking.
Um, yeah, so we have a new mattress, and now they share a bed,
Mhm.
which I guess is more normal in like Thailand anyway for like people to share beds. Just in general, I feel like that happens a lot more even when people aren't dating. They're just like I think we're a little more into our personal space here.
Mhm.
Um, because I'd be like I'm gonna need two separate beds.
I mean it does seem very fast in the relationship because they go from being roommates to like being a couple who's like moved in together essentially like very quickly.
Yeah, we again go from homophobia and trauma to this very quickly.
Yeah, they're speed running.
Yeah. And then it's Tarn's birthday, and he wants Type to come to his parents' house for his B-day dinner, but Type is like, maybe not yet, please, thank you.
Yeah.
Um, which valid, I would
Hmm.
say, because of the same thing we just said of, like, can we not speedrun it? And Type is still working through it. So,
Yeah,
mm,
so um we start the next episode with the brothers and they're hanging out and then the younger one gets a notification that it's Tarn's birthday, which I was really confused of at first cuz I did not realize that they knew each other.
mhm,
Cuz like at this point they don't really make it super obvious like how these characters are connected. So I was like, "Oh, how does he know Tarn?" But we'll get into it. Um and then San comes to the birthday dinner. Um, what we kind of gather from that point is like he's not their blood sibling, but he is like a sibling to them. Like he's like his mom is like, oh yeah, you're like our other son, whatever. He's actually Torn's Tarn's older brother's best friend or close friend, from like when they were growing up. So that's the relation there. Um, and while this is happening, Type and his friends are eating out, and No is surprised that like Type didn't go to the birthday dinner. But of course, like, Type is like,
yeah,
I'm not ready to meet the parents yet.
mhm,
And then I love how like I like this is like some character progression I wanted to see where like him and No are very casually talking about their relationship, and like No is like, oh wow, like he's kind and rich and humble, like you're so lucky, and Type's just like, yeah, of course. Which like he's not kind or whatever, but it is like
Yeah.
nice to see, like, I don't know, at least Type is like like I don't know, he's treating it like a normal relationship at least,
Yeah,
he doesn't
he's
seem
not flipping his shit for once.
right, yeah. There's no like self-hatred or outward hatred or anything. It's just like
Mhm.
a normal way to talk about your partner. So
Yeah. It's really
character
funny that they were doing
progression.
that in front of their other friends, though, and so the other friends weren't, like, paying attention, and they'd catch it, like, a random moment, they'd be like, "Who, what?" And they're like, "Oh, just nothing, don't worry about it."
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, No's a good friend. We
Mhm.
keep saying it, but it's true. And then we see Type sees a Facebook picture of Tarn's family and like at his birthday dinner. And San is in the picture, and he's the one person that Type doesn't recognize, and he's like, who is this? Whatever. You know, mystery guy who came to the he's like immediately suspicious and has like a bad feeling about it.
Yeah, type you'd know if he would've gone to the dinner.
Yeah. Or you could just ask him, but he doesn't
Yeah, that
really
too.
do that.
Dramatic.
Yeah. Oh, and then we get a Durex sponsorship. This is fun. So Tarn finds the birthday present that Type got for him, and it's a big old box of condoms.
Flavored condoms, apparently.
Yeah. Yeah, later they're like trying to pick a flavor or whatever. And they're like chocolate. I'm like, okay. Uh, good for you guys. And then uh Type also finds the present that San got for Tarn, and it's like some like expensive, like is it like a bag or something?
I thought it was like a notebook.
Okay. Yeah, it's something it was like leather bound, I feel. So I was like
Yeah.
didn't know what it was, but there was like a sentimental note on it. Like something about like how you'll always be important to me,
Mhm.
and um so I don't know, he's like upset about that, but
So
doesn't
dramatic again.
yeah, he's dramatic about it again and will do anything except just like ask him.
Mhm.
And so No sees that they're fighting again, and of course he's trying to mend their relationship as always. And so he like invites them out. And then they see Tarn walking with San, and that's when we officially learn that he's Tarn's brother's best friend. But also there's more. Like, okay. And No invites San to come with them, which is a bad idea. And like while they're eating dinner, San kind of mentions that like Type doesn't like spicy food and he doesn't like raw food, which is interesting because no, Tarn doesn't like spicy food or raw food, which is interesting because Type earlier like took him out and they got like sashimi together, and Tarn never like mentioned anything about it. Like he just like ate it, never said that he hated it, which is like a big deal for them.
Yeah, you could kinda see that, like, Tarn was, like, suffering while he was eating, but
Yeah.
although
Yeah.
Tarn tends to lose his personality around Type, like, he'll do anything to make sure Type stays happy,
Mhm.
um, which is why he didn't tell him,
Which, like, I don't understand, like, what was the point? Because he was like, "Oh, I ate it to make you happy," but it's like like, that's such a weird thing to do. Like, if you go to
mm.
a restaurant and you don't like something, like, that's not gonna break your relationship. You can just order something else.
I mean, it's not that hard to upset Type, so I kinda get where he's coming from. Kinda like, it's
Yeah.
still wrong, like, it's just food, but also, like, literally, like, stepping the wrong way, like, walking down the road will set Type off, so
Yeah. It's just, like, at the point where it's, like, weirder to lie about it, because now Type
yeah.
is super pissed about the
Mhm.
situation. Also, San pulls Type aside and he mentions that he was Tharn's first. So he's stirring the pot for sure.
So, I don't know if it was a translation thing or what, but that line, when I was watching it, is, "He's his first and only?" And I'm like, but
Yeah.
Tarn was known as, like, to sleep around.
So the reason is what I assume, because my translation said that too, is because he was the only person that Tarn like bottomed for.
Oh, okay.
And for some reason, I mean, I feel like there's just like this heteronormative idea where it's like, oh, it's only real sex if you're like being like penetrated or something. I don't know. I feel like I just like hear that a lot, like about like gay women and stuff, like. But so I think
Oh,
that's where they were headed with that line.
oh. I don't know, 'cause that just threw me off. I was like, "But you're not his only." Like, even
Mm,
if, like, Type wasn't in the picture, like, we've established that he has gotten around.
yeah. Yeah, I think he meant like I was the first and only person to like fuck him,
Which is
which is
weird that he
weird.
knows that.
That is, yeah, how do you know? Like maybe we mixed it up in the bedroom a little bit. Like
Yeah, you never know if Tarn was like, "Well, maybe it was just that one time, and now that I'm experienced, it's different," you know?
yeah, right. It's a weird thing to brag about too. Like I mean, you can brag. I mean, I guess because he's a shitty person, I guess it makes sense to be like, oh yeah, I was like his first, whatever. But don't be like,
Yeah.
I was his only.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah. So, yeah, he's really trying to set Type off, which is very
He
easy to
does.
do. Yeah,
Yeah.
it works. And they go back to the dorm and they fight about the sashimi thing, which I feel like is a stupid argument, but um it's not really about the sashimi. It's about how like it's about Type's jealousy towards Tarn and San and their relationship and stuff. And he tells Tarn, he's like, you need to avoid San, you can't talk to him anymore. And Tarn's just like, don't tell me what to do. Um
Valid.
and yeah, which is it's very valid. I mean, I think like obviously like I wouldn't want my partner to be around their ex who is clearly like be, you know being
Yeah.
horrible and stuff, but like you can't just point blank tell them to not see someone
No.
again.
Like, if he'd have had, like, a real discussion on, like, what was happening and
Mhm.
not just, like, yelled at Tarn for a while, like,
Yeah.
maybe, but to just walk up like, if somebody walks up to me, like, a significant other and just goes, "I don't want you to see, like, your brother's best friend ever again,"
Mhm.
um, unavoidable, dude. Like,
Yeah. Like don't yeah, literally don't tell me what to do.
yeah, bye.
Yeah. 'Cause yeah, and then Type threatens to break up with Tarn, and this is kind of like a trigger for Tarn in a way because he's been broken up with a lot, which we'll get into later. But then he also says this is vicious, but he's like, "Oh, San knows me better than you do, because he knows I hate the word breakup." Which is again, it's just kind of feeding into Type's insecurities about like San being
Yeah,
a better fit for him and stuff.
but also,
Um,
who likes the word breakup?
yeah, like clearly, yeah, no one like I don't know. It's just like a weird like
Yeah,
they try to make it like breakup is like this horrible crushing word to Tarn. And it's like, yeah,
no.
I mean, it's not good for anyone, but
Yeah,
and then Type apologizes before going to bed, but Tarn kind of ignores him at this point. And the next day he's like fucking up at band practice. Clearly like, I don't know, stressed about this. And then Tarn accepts Type's apology and Type kind of asks about San and like their relationship, and so they like talk about it, which is good. Should have done that the other night, but glad you're kind of talking about it now. And
yeah.
then they end up like they like make up pretty much.
It's actually one of the calmer arguments they've had, to be
Yeah,
honest.
yeah. I like when they actually communicate.
Yeah.
And then okay, so God.
This random ass scene.
Yeah, so we have San and Torn at a bar, and Torn is just like, oh, it was really fucked up that you slept with my brother when he was 14. And San was just like, oh, well, he was like really tiny and cute and innocent, which is
So
gross.
gross.
Because he's like, I couldn't help myself because he was so tiny and innocent. Like, and he keeps like previously at the birthday dinner too, he kept making remarks about like, oh, you're not like the cute little boy I used to know. And he had like asked his mom, like, can you send me pictures of Tarn when he was like little and stuff? It's like weird.
So gross.
It like made my skin crawl actually.
Yeah.
Which once again, love that we have another gay man who is a predator.
Right. Like I don't know what the age gap between like Torn and Tarn is.
I tried to look it up and it seems like it's only like someone said they had like a 2-year age gap, but I don't know if where they got that from exactly. So
Yeah, I mean it could be from the novel.
okay.
Would be my guess. Because I don't
Yeah.
think it's that big of a gap for sure. So 'cause as far
Mm-hmm.
as like, okay, if Tarn was like 14, how old would San have been? And then
Yeah,
like 16, I'm like, okay, that's not my favorite, but it's normal, right? Like 2 years isn't the end of the world.
yeah.
And just 14 is hella young. Um,
It is, yeah. I mean, and that's why like his brother, I mean, man, if I was torn, I would not have forgiven my friend for that. But
no.
he's like, yeah, I was really fucked up you did that, and it sounds like they had like physically fought about it. But then he's like, oh, but because you've treated him so kindly ever since, like I've forgiven you. But
I don't think they
uh,
physically fought. I think San just let Torn like punch him once.
I think yeah. Oh, and what else we find out is that the time that San and Tarn had sex, it was like in like the music practice room,
Yeah.
which that could not have been a comfortable spot to lose your virginity.
No. No wonder he didn't like
Yeah, no wonder
like
you had a bad time. Like on the piano bench or something. Like, oh my god.
right? Honestly, I'd have been so worried about somebody walking in.
I know.
Um,
They have like little windows in those rooms too.
mhm.
Yeah, so that was a weird conversation that did not need to happen.
I mean, I guess we needed backstory on what the hell that was all about, but
I guess. Yeah. But then like I mean, it's like this is very sudden, but like Type went grocery shopping and he is like walking back to the apartment and then through the window he sees San and Tarn standing next to each other. And then San sees that Type is looking and just grabs Tarn and like kisses him to make Type mad and stuff. But it's so
so funny because like Type like drops his grocery bag.
he does. He's gotta like go pick it up later and stuff too.
Mhm.
But like what is San's plan with this? It's a bad plan.
Son, I think, thinks that he can just kiss. I mean,
Maybe
maybe
this
maybe that's where Tarn learned it from.
that's what I was thinking. We're gonna psychoanalyze now.
Yeah, because I mean, it's not any different from the shit that Tarn's been doing.
No. Wow. Yeah, learned behavior.
Ugh, awful.
Yep.
So episode 8 ends with the kiss, and then episode 9 starts with Type punching Tharn first. He comes stomping in and like grabs Tharn and like just socks him, and
That
then
took me aback so hard because I was like, why'd you punch your boyfriend first?
right because he was closest,
Yeah.
and I really wish he would have punched San.
Yeah, me too.
Because Type goes to attack San, and Tarn holds him back. And then they're both yelling at San, and San pretends he's doing Tarn a favor by teaching him that Type is embarrassed of their relationship and won't tell people, and that Tarn's gonna get hurt in the end. Um, and it's Tarn was his first love, and so that's why he's being overprotective. And it's like that's the whole thing is so weird. Like, what is that? Wasn't first off, that was not your logic. Like, that's a
Mm,
bullshit.
yeah,
But like, it's so problematic.
it is. And it's problematic and it's stupid.
Yeah. Which yeah. So And then like he just says all that, and then Type and Tarn are both just kind of like standing there, like What?" And then San leaves.
Yeah, because it's not like Tarn's like reciprocating at all.
Yeah.
So.
So Type does apologize to Tarn for being a bad boyfriend and promises that he's gonna try to come to terms with dating a man. So, I mean, at least I guess it was a wake up call for him a little bit.
Mhm.
So, I mean, good on, I guess. So then they go to Jeet's bar, and Type admits that they're more than friends
Mhm.
to Jeet, which is, it's a good step. It's a baby step, but it's a good step.
Yeah, I think that's the
Um,
first person like he's told. So.
yep. And then they go. Tarn was like performing, right? Yeah, Tarn was performing that night, and so while he's not there, Type is like flirting with some of Tarn's fangirls. I like your note. There's no background music, so the scene's awkward.
It's so awkward. It's like you can hear like their little like footsteps and stuff like so clearly, but there's like no music playing, so it's just like I think they just forgot to put the music in.
Yeah, because that's weird. I mean, for a bar to not have a background music playing, like I know it's like after like Tarn's like um set, I guess, but like come on.
Yeah.
This whole scene is so weird. Um so like Type's over there like flirting with these girls, whatever, and Tarn comes over and he's like clearly mad, and Type is like, "Yeah, I just did that to make you jealous so that we would be like even." So like Tarn gets even more mad now, right? And so he like drags him over to the like bar bathroom hallway or something like that. And is like just forcing himself onto Type. Like I thought we were past this. And here we
Yeah.
are again. Like he's at this point he's only kissing, but he's also like talking about fucking him. Um and
Mhm.
Type is literally just going no, like repeatedly. And Tarn's not listening. And it ends with like Type literally kneeing him in the balls. Um, and then and Tarn's just going straight to the ground. And
Yeah.
fucking deserved.
Yeah.
Um, but then he does like the weirdest thing, and he says that if Tarn ever cheats on him, he'll cheat back 10 times worse. Like, what the fuck is that?
And this is all like payback for the San stuff, but like Tarn wasn't even like a participant in that. He was like kissed quickly and randomly. Like he didn't like have a say,
Yeah, he
you
was also
know.
sexually assaulted, right? Like, that's
Yeah.
what that is.
Like you don't have to like get even or punish him for that cuz he like literally didn't do anything.
Mm-hmm. It's Type, you're dumb.
Yeah.
And then Type says this weird shit of I'm more evil than you think. Like, okay, Type. Like, I guess you can wave that red flag. What the fuck?
Yeah. Like
Weirdo.
cool.
Like, why are you proud of that? Um,
Yeah. I don't
um,
know.
and then all I can do is just like exhale every time I read what the next scene
Me
is.
too. I'm constantly like remembering what's to
Yeah.
come.
So Tarn brings Type to his house um to meet Torn and to switch cars because there's something like wrong with his car or something like that, and so he had like left it, and so was borrowing another car, something like that. And Torn is like comes outside because they take too long to come inside or whatever. And at one point Torn is like, I love to stalk. And like same though, but I wouldn't admit that to the person I'm stalking. Because it was
No.
like he knew something about Type that like he shouldn't have known. Like
Mhm.
I don't remember what it was, but it wasn't anything creepy. It was just like something like casual.
Yeah. He's like, "Oh,
Um
I follow you on Instagram."
yeah. Oh, it was he was more attractive
Mm. In
than like his
person.
photos or something like that. And it was like, what?
Yeah.
Um, and then this becomes like a whole family event because like while they're out there talking, Tanya comes out and she wasn't even supposed to be home, but she skipped like her piano lesson or whatever. And because she found out that Tarn and his boyfriend were coming over. And and then the parents show up because apparently they raced home because Tanya called them as soon as she found. And so everyone's like, "Ah, we met the guy now." And then it's like,
Mhm.
"Also, stay for dinner." And Type is like, "The fuck just happened?" And Tarn's like,
Yeah.
"Oops."
'Cause he did not wanna, like, meet the family, like, he was nervous about meeting the brother, and then suddenly, like, they're all there.
Yeah, it's one of those, like, I don't even think Tarn told him that they were going to his house because they, like, show up and Type's like, "Where are we?" And Tarn's like,
Yeah.
"My house."
Yeah. He's definitely pushing him in head first into the meet the family thing.
So then later, Type and Note go to Jeet's bar to watch Tarn's band play. Um, and then No gets really drunk and ends up having to sleep on their couch. And this is so fucked up
This
because
is.
Type is really turned on by how like Tarn like plays the drums. And so then they have sex, even though No is literally like 2 feet away, and they're like throwing clothes up. Like they're not even being like subtle about it, right?
No.
Right? Like first off, don't have sex when your friend is like right there. Like
Oh.
they're not consenting to that. But then on top
Mm-mm.
of that, why are you throwing your underwear on your friend?
I know. And, like, no, like, wakes up and, like, realizes what's happening at some point.
Right? And like the next morning he tries to like tell Type, and Type is like, shut the fuck up right now.
Yeah. And then Noah's just like, "Oh, I slept really well,
Yeah.
actually."
No puts up with so much.
He does! Oh my god. This is, like yeah. Uh, I was just like, I cannot believe they're doing this right now with no right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Mhm.
And then we jump back to the other two brothers to what Tom and Tar. And Tom is skipping class to go hang out with his younger brother. And they hold hands a lot. Like it's giving flirty and holding hands, but they're definitely brothers. So I don't know what that's about.
Even to this point in my notes, I said, "Are they brothers?" Because I was like, "I'm still not sure because 'cause they're flirting and holding hands, like, what is the relationship?"
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
Like there's not actually anything else going on. They're just brothers, but like when they hold hands, it's like there's a way where you don't like mingle fingers, right? When it's just like platonic usually, especially when it's
Yeah.
like siblings, but they're holding hands like a couple would a lot of the
Yeah, and,
time.
like,
And I'm like,
walking and stuff.
yeah, it's a bit much.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, maybe people do it, but if you're, like, 19 and your brother's, like, 17 or something, like, you're not gonna be holding hands, you know? Like, I
Mm,
feel like they intentionally made it either once again, Mame doesn't have siblings and doesn't understand how the relationships work, or, like, purposely made it their relationship, like, weird, you know?
yeah. Yeah, I was trying to think in the other shows if anyone has siblings. Boss's character has the older brother or the twin brother.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah,
but then Noel, I think, is an only child.
I think so.
And then Pi has siblings. They
Oh,
all have weird
yeah.
relationships too, yeah.
They
Um,
do.
and then I think Sky's an only child. We don't hear about a sibling at least.
Yeah. Not that
And
I
then
can remember.
so yeah, questionable siblings.
Yep.
Um so yeah, and then Long comes over and Taryn wants to tell him about their relationship. Um and then Taryn says I love you, and Hype basically says maybe. Um like he might also, but he doesn't outright say it.
Mhm.
And so then when Long comes over, they tell him that they're together. Um as if there's not only one bed in this apartment. Um
Yeah, like, thought it'd be pretty obvious in the first place.
right? And then Long has a panic, like drops his glass of water he's drinking and then just checks out and leaves.
Yeah, and I was really confused at this point because Long, like, has known Tarn for a while, like, known he's gay, so I was like, "Why is he acting like that?" But there is a reason.
Mhm. Oh. And then we see like Tarn is like at like the mall or something doing some work or something, and he runs into Tar, and he like immediately tries to leave, and Tar's like, I miss you. Um and and Tarn just is like no and leaves.
Yeah. it's gonna get messy.
Mm-hmm.
So Long runs into Type at school and they seem pretty chill. Like, cause I was like, oh, this guy, he's actually like homophobic and like, maybe doesn't support the relationship, but like he seems completely normal the next time like Type sees him. And Long is just like, oh, if I just bought a new guitar, so I don't have any money, but if you like buy me a meal, I'll give you like the tea on like Tarn's exes and stuff. So Type's like, hell yeah, I'll take you up on that.
Mood
And,
though.
yeah, honestly, that's like honestly good exchange,
Mm-hmm.
And um Long tells him that like Tarn's never dated anyone for very long. His first boyfriend like cheated on him a bunch, and after that, um, none of his relationships ever lasted more than 2 months. It's like the 2 months curse. And then he met Tar, who was his ex-bandmate's younger brother. This is where I'm like, oh, okay, I put it together. I'm like, okay, that's the relationship
So
here.
10.
Yeah, episode 10. And then they were in love, but then they broke up and he doesn't know why. So that's the tea we learn.
If only that were the case.
Yeah. If only that was the story. Well, it is the story, it's just not the full story.
Mm-hmm.
And then Tar once again finds Tarn in like it's like a cafe or something. And he like apologizes for what he did. And Tarn is just like, you need to tell Tom the truth. And Tara's like, I never wanted to break up with you, but like I can't say why. I can't say why. I just really want to get back together. Like I still love you, whatever. And Type calls and like Tarn sees this on his phone and he like leaves. So that's curious.
Yeah. This is so messy.
It's so mad.
Tarn has the messiest relationships.
He does. Oh my
And
god,
it's not even really his fault, to be honest.
no, there's like another guy's fault mostly, but like yeah, I think like is it Long or something? I don't know. Long's like yeah, he just dates like assholes pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Later, Tar calls Tharn and he's like Tarn's basically just like, "Oh, I'm dating someone new. Don't contact me again." And Tar's just like whatever, like you guys will break up, like you're not gonna last long, like very menacingly. And Tom so he goes home and he ends up finding Tar like fully clothed, like in the shower, and he's like having a panic attack or something. But he's just like yelling at him. He's like, look at me, stop, look at me, whatever. And I'm like, I don't think that's the right thing to do in this situation.
I don't know what is the right, but I don't.
Yeah. I mean, it does work, to be fair, because
Yeah.
they're brother boyfriends. Once Tar like looks him in the eye, he like calms down. But I was just like, if I was like having a panic attack and someone was like yelling at me, I don't think that would help.
No, I think that would just make my panic attack worse.
Me too. So yeah, he is not doing well. And Tarn and Type, they're being like all coupley back in their apartment, and Type sees that Tarn gets like a random phone call on his phone. It's like from a random number. Like Tarn, I don't think he notices. But for some reason this like catches his attention. And like later that night he goes into Tarn's phone and like copies down that number into his own phone. Which is interesting because I don't know, I get like hella spam calls. So I wouldn't have thought twice if like a random number called someone.
Type is paranoid, and he's caught that Tarn's been on the phone a couple times.
Oh, that's true.
I think that's where he's just assuming that that's who's calling.
Probably. Okay. He's perceptive.
Yeah. If he would just, I would say if he would just talk to Tarn, but Tarn's not going to tell him anything anyway. So honestly,
No.
yeah. Sure.
Yeah. Whatever works, I guess. Honestly, this does work out for him kind of.
Yeah.
So Tarn then he approaches Tom at school, who's Tar's brother. And there's so many T names in the show. He says basically that like Tar called him the other day and he like showed proof. He's like, "Is this your brother's number?" And Tom's like, "I don't believe it. He wouldn't contact you, like, because you're an asshole. I don't believe it. Whatever."
Mm-hmm.
But it gets his attention out enough where they like go outside to like the roof or something and they talk. And instead of like articulating anything meaningful, Tarn is just like, "Oh yeah, Tar called and he wants me back." And like, of course, like Tom like punches him because he's under the impression that like, you know, I
Yeah.
don't know, they're gonna get in a relationship again or some shit. And
Mm-hmm.
like he probably thinks that like Tarn is harassing his brother because Tarn's not saying anything useful.
As
Um,
usual.
yeah. And Tom's just like, "Oh, but like he's like Tar has been like fucked up mentally, like because of you. Like he's not eating, he's not sleeping, he's like, not doing well at all, and like you can never see him again." And like leaves. And like they should be on the same side for this. But
Yeah.
instead of telling him like, "Hey, your brother keeps like contacting me and he's like saying concerning things and I don't want anything to do with him like anymore, like you should get him help, whatever." He's just like, "Yeah, your brother wants me back." Like
Right? Like, maybe don't approach it that way.
no. Dude, Tarn is like, this is when he starts getting really bad at communicating.
Yeah.
And it
I will
drives me up a
say,
wall.
I'm guessing there's some trauma there where instead of like defending himself, he just takes whatever is dished
He
out at him.
Yeah.
Um, but like it's hella frustrating.
It's not even like defending himself. He just has no capability to explain
Yeah,
things.
he just kind of shuts down.
Yeah.
He's like,
And
"Yeah, you're right now." Like,
it's like such a pet peeve of mine. It just like personally really annoyed me.
mhm,
And then so he basically, I think Tom sets up a meeting between Tarn and Tar, but he's like kind of chaperoning.
mhm,
It's like a controlled conversation but it's at the bar. But then Tom like leaves the table, I guess maybe to give him some privacy or to go to the bathroom. I don't really know. But
yeah,
Tar is being like kind of nasty, and again he's just like, "Yeah, you guys will break up. Like you and your boyfriend aren't gonna last." And oh my god. T- Tarn's just like, like but he's still like Tar won't explain why he broke up with him in the first place. And so Tarn is basically like, "Okay, this is the last time I'm ever going to see you. So whatever you need to say, like, say it now."
mhm.
And Tar is just like, the only thing he says is he's like, "I love you." Tarn doesn't say it back, but he is like, he's got like his hand on Tar's hand. He's like kind of like caressing his face, or he's like wiping tears from his eyes. And it's like a
It's
weird, it's like so weird to do.
it's unnecessarily affectionate, which when they ran into
Mhm.
each other like at the mall or whatever, like earlier, like Tarn did the same thing then, where like his hand was on this kid's face. And he
Yeah.
was like, "Can we not?"
No, because I mean, you're kind of giving him hope in a way, and it's like
Yeah.
it's weird to caress your ex-boyfriend, especially when he's professing his love to you and he's also mentally unstable and like it's that's not the way to go about it.
No.
And of course, this is when Type shows up and he sees this caressing happen and he just kind of leaves without saying anything. He doesn't interrupt. He just goes home. How does he know about this? Was it Long that told him? Did they
I don't know how he found this one.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't know if
I
they
don't know if he
explain.
just guessed.
Yeah. I'm also unsure. But anyway, coincidences happen a lot. And so he now it's like time for him. Is this when he sits in the dark, like waiting for Tarn to
Uh,
come home?
I don't know if it was this time or if it might be this time.
Yeah, I don't remember. But he waits for Tarn to come home,
Mhm.
and he like starts yelling at him, which that's fair. Like Tarn's like secretly like I think Tarn like lies about he at first he's like, oh, where were you? And then like Tarn like lies about it. And then he type is mad. Like so fair, King.
Yeah.
And like Tarn like doesn't explain any of it or try to defend himself or doesn't deny anything. He's which it just drives me up a wall because Type is like thinking like, "Oh, you're cheating on me with your ex-boyfriend." And Tarn can't even say like he can't explain anything. He's just like, "But I still love you." Like that's not a denial.
Yeah.
He's like, "Just
Like,
trust me. I love you." Like, "No, bitch, like explain."
mm-hmm. Yeah. Tarn's not good at explaining anything.
No. Like, oh my god, like this will save your relationship if you just tell him like explain how it's a misunderstanding and stuff. But instead you're lying, you're sneaking around, and now you're being seen like caressing your ex-lover. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
very valid conclusion to draw.
for real. Like, come on, dude.
Yeah. And Type leaves and everyone's crying. Like Type's crying, Tarn's crying, Tar is crying, everyone's crying.
Yeah. That was a lot of crying there at the
Yeah.
end.
Yeah.
What was the other show we watched where everybody was crying?
Oh, lovely writer.
Oh, that's right. We're just
Yeah.
at one point, literally everybody in the cast was crying in separate rooms.
Yeah,
Um,
they had like a montage of everyone crying. It's so good. Um, and then No ends up telling Type that he saw Tarn and Tar together that one day when at the cafe or whatever when they bumped into each other, and Tarn was also being, kind of caressing him or whatever. And then Type is like, I'm gonna find that kid.
It's so scary for the kid.
That is, but also good on No, because like, oh, I guess No is Type's friend more than he is Tarn's friend, but
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah,
He jokes about being Tarn's friend more.
he does. But like, I guess good on him for like, being loyal to his one friend, I
Yeah.
guess, or the one who's like being wronged.
Yeah, he did wait to tell him, but I think it was just to see what's going on.
Yeah, because he's
Um,
like, didn't. I mean, he probably didn't want to start another fight if it was nothing. But now that he
yeah.
knows it's not nothing, he's like, I gotta tell you.
Yeah. I Noah's not the type to jump to conclusions, unlike
Hmm.
everybody else.
Yeah.
Um,
Yes.
so, um, almost to the end, episode 11 finally.
Almost there.
So Type calls Tar and says he's Tarn's boyfriend, and Tar just immediately hangs up. Like, duh. Um,
He's scared.
and so Tar goes to school with Noah's brother. So they use the brother to help find Tar. And this is such a weird scene because they're like Type has to, since he doesn't know Tar's name, he has to go through like all the photos of like this kid's like classmates till he figures out which one it is, and so that the kid can like spot him basically. And then they
Hmm.
go sit at like the cafe on a lookout waiting for him to come by.
Yeah.
And I
They
was
keep
like, are
like,
we bullying him?
because they keep like a guy will walk by and they'll be like, "Is that him?" And he's like, "Nah, he's not tall enough." And like, no, it's just like I think we're bullying him.
It's so funny.
It is.
Um, so then they do spot him, and the kid like goes out. The like No's brother goes out and like drags him in, saying that like his brother's inside or whatever. And then like Tum is
Mhm.
inside. And then he comes in and he's like, "Where's my brother?" And they're like, "Huh, just kidding. Hi, I'm
It's an
I'm
ambush.
Type, right?"
Hmm.
And so they bring him in, and Tara's like, "I'm gonna make you break up." It's like, okay, um, this is so dramatic.
Hmm.
And then we jump scenes again, and Tarn comes home, and Type is there, and Type is like, "I met up with Tar today," and told him that what Tar, and then Type told Tarn what Tar said.
Oh my
Jesus.
god.
And and then he says that he punched Tar,
Hmm. He like
which
insinuates it, kind of.
yeah. And then Type makes Tarn promise not to see Tar again, which Tarn was already like, I don't want to see him again, so not that big of a deal.
Uh huh.
And then Type goes out drinking, and this was such a random scene. Um,
Mhm.
made sense later, but like Type goes out drinking with Long, like Tarn's best friend, right?
Mhm.
And Long ends up having to like carry him home. And hindsight, the scene is so fucked up. But like
Yeah.
at the time, it was one of those of like Long was like, "You two are fighting, and I have to deal with it," type of a bullshit.
Mhm.
And it was one of those like, "Aw, good friend."
Yeah, right.
Mm. And so Type apologizes to Tarn about not listening to him, which what? Tarn didn't really try to explain himself very well. So like,
Yeah, listen to
okay,
what? Like, your
yeah,
silence is deafening.
yeah. And then Tarn's like, no, I need to apologize, whatever. And so they're fine. They're cuddled in bed. And then a scout contacts Long and the band. And so Long and Tarn set up like a meeting to meet with this scout. And Long is late to this meeting. And so um Tarn is there waiting for everyone else to show up, and he witnesses like Tars being like unwillingly shoved into a room by an older man, like as in like some sort of sex trafficking thing. And so of
Mhm.
course he goes to help Tar, right? Like obviously, like regardless. And then turns out, haha, the meeting was a trick set up by Tar. And Tar is like forcing himself onto Tarn. This is like insanity.
Yeah, and they're, like, on a bed in, like, a hotel room right now or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course Type walks in like right at that moment. So does Long. Well, sorry, Type gets a text from Tar like right before this and it's like come and see for yourself. And so that's where Type happens to walk in right as like um Tarn I think had like gotten them to flip over so that he was on top so he could like get away. Um
Mhm.
and so like he Tarn Type walks in the room right as that's like happening and like Tarn pushes Tar away and it like jumps off the bed and he like runs over to Type. And he's not doing a great job of explaining. He goes like, "It's not what you think," but like doesn't elaborate.
Yes,
Um,
again.
which Type I will say is like, I know what's happening here, whatever. Um,
Mhm.
and and then Long somehow knows everything, and so Long is like explaining that Tar set up the whole thing and text Tarn to come, or text Type to come, and
Mhm.
well, I guess Tarn too to come for the meeting because I think the scouting thing was part of that, right?
Yeah, I think the
Yeah,
scouting was fake.
yeah. And then like Type yells at Tarn for being like super easily manipulated, and then he just like leaves, and then everyone leaves and Tar's crying in bed. Um, and
Mhm.
then like Type goes home and starts packing his shit and is trying to move out. And Type or Tarn like shows up and Type is like, I knew that was a setup, but like I'm really tired of your exes because this is getting really fucking annoying. Which valid, like honestly,
Mhm.
like first it was San and now it was like this crazy shit.
Mhm.
And Type is like, I can't handle all these crazy exes like harassing us anymore. I'm done, right? And poor
Mhm.
Tarn. Tarn is like a disaster now. Like he's
Oh,
like
yeah.
literally sobbing and he's like begging on his knees for like Type to stay, and Type leaves. Like the relationship over, and he like runs into Long on his way out. Um, that's where we learn that Long is a villain.
Uh-oh.
This whole time. And he's actually really into Tarn because of course there's a fucking third one in the picture,
Oh my god, everyone's obsessed with Tarn.
right? I don't fucking get it. Like I mean he's hot, but like also like he keeps saying the one dude.
Yeah, he's
Like
not that great.
no. He's got kind of a whiny personality on top of that, and he's a little too needy for me.
Yeah,
Um
I agree.
so this is where we learn through Long and Tar talking that Long is the reason that Tarn and Tar broke up because Long had Tar like gang raped.
It's so
It's
bad.
it's so fucked up. Like it's insane.
It is.
And I think I yeah, and so that's where we end with that. Is just like this the whole fucked up thing is all because of fucking Long.
Oh
Who
my
I
god.
really liked until this point. I was so upset.
I know, I kind of Like, I kind of thought that maybe at some point he, like, had feelings for Tarn or something, but I did not expect him to be, like, the evil villain.
Yeah. Like, good on them for, like, the plot twist, I guess, but, like, ugh.
But is it even a plot twist if it's the third time they did it in this show? Like, they were
It's
like,
a
oh, San's evil. Oh, look, Tar's evil. Oh no, Long's also evil. At this point, I'm just like, okay,
if you're gay or evil.
by the third time you did the same plot twist, it's not working on me anymore. I mean, I am surprised, but I also am at this point, I'm just so tired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Home stretch.
Home stretch. Episode 12, final episode. This episode's like an hour and a half. It's crazy.
Mhm.
So, yeah, Tarn's an absolute mess. He goes home, he cries to his brother, and he's like, "What did I do wrong?" And I'm like, well,
Uh,
you didn't do yourself any favors at least.
yeah.
Like, obviously you're not the fault for these crazy exes coming after you, but it is your fault for not like explaining like anything to your
Mhm.
boyfriend. And he gets upset and he like ends up throwing his phone in the pool. So his phone is broken. Must be nice to be rich.
It's so he's like I don't know, like not whining, but he's like upset like poolside, right? So like it's already
Mhm.
like the nicest place you could be to like be pouting, like is like your legs hanging in the pool, whatever. And
Yeah.
then just in a rage throw your phone into the pool. Like,
Yep.
okay, I don't have that kind of money. Like
No.
I don't have
Yeah.
like another $800,000 whatever to like buy another phone.
Yeah, I feel like if I had an indoor pool, I could get over a breakup a lot quicker
Yep.
for some reason. And Long also comes to visit Tarn at like his family house, and he when he leaves, he's like sad that Tarn doesn't want him. Like,
Yeah.
he's just a friend. I mean, he's been his friend for so long. Like, do you really think that, I don't know, Tarn's gonna start feeling differently about you?
Right. And then on top of that, like I think he's asleep when he shows up anyway. So like
Yeah. It's like I don't understand his plan either. None of them are good at making a plan.
no.
You
Like
can't be like you can't be evil if you're not gonna be an evil mastermind.
yeah. Like his plan was literally to traumatize his friend into losing relationships until he realized that the only like stable friend like person in his life that's consistently there is his best friend. So maybe
Mm-hmm.
they should date because that's how that works, right?
Yeah,
So
because if you've never been attracted to your friend before, you're gonna start at some point.
yeah. Also, this reminds me of like Way and Pit Babe, where it's like
Mm.
clearly I don't think Long's ever like told him. Like,
No,
like maybe tell him. You never
that's the
know.
other route. Yeah, you could just like try,
Yeah,
and you might be successful, but you definitely are not successful in doing what you're doing now.
for real.
Yeah, and so Torn ends up finding Type at school because his brother's a mess, and he wants to ask the boyfriend, like, he's like, what happened? Why did you break up with my brother? Like, like, bro, like he's a wreck right now. Like, what's going on? And um Type is basically like, okay, I'll tell you everything, but you can't tell anyone. Um
Yeah, which Torn's like speech of like I've never seen my brother cry, like whatever. Like there's this whole like family dynamic thing he goes into, and he's talking about how he's never seen Tarn cry, and I'm like, we've seen him cry so many times on the show,
yeah, he's been doing nothing but crying.
right? Like he cries a lot.
Yeah. He's just his home life is probably just so nice he doesn't need to cry.
Yeah,
Or like,
the
I mean,
privilege.
just thinking about the pool again. I would cry
But
less
even
if I had a pool.
but even outside the pool, like the weird like perfect like sibling relationship they have, which is like part of what
Yeah.
like Torn was getting into of like yeah, Type was the baby for so long, and then when the sister came in, he lost all the attention as the baby, right? So like, and he just kind of like took it, right? Um,
Yeah. But
and
like
so that's what he's
boo-hoo.
getting into. But I'm like, okay, but you guys have like such a great sibling relationship.
Yeah, and their parents are super nice and like they're very accepting too.
hmm
So, yeah.
yeah. So
But we don't find out exactly what Type says until
yep.
later. And then
hmm
we cut to like Tarn's bandmates, they can't contact him because his phone's been ruined, but they don't know that. And Long kind of like defends Tarn, and he's like, he's going through something, but they're like, it's been a couple days. He can't just like, not contact us and not answer our calls, and like, we got band practice or something.
Yeah.
And Type, okay. So I think this is when Long, like, he leaves band practice, and I think it's there after he leaves band practice, like in the middle of the street, where Type runs into him.
Yeah.
And it's like a setup, basically. So Type planned this, and he runs. Type knows more than Long knows he knows.
Yeah.
So on the street, like, Type is like, "Oh, have you talked to Tarn? Like, what has he said? Like, what is he doing? Okay? Have you been taking care of him? Because that's what he like told him previously." And Long completely lies. He's like, "Yeah, actually, I did visit Tarn, and he has completely gotten over you, and he doesn't want an apology or anything. He just really wants to never see you again." Which is a bad lie to begin with, but
Yeah.
of course, Type doesn't buy this, and he basically confronts Long about. He's like, "I know what you did. I know that you hired people to gang rape Tar. Jesus Christ. Horrible thing to do, but also Tar is like a child, so it's like
Yeah.
so horrible." And
Car
yeah,
is a junior in high school. So he's what, like 17-ish? And this
yeah,
was like a year ago.
yeah.
Like, that's so fucked up.
It's so. I mean, even though, yeah, that's kind of. I feel like Tar is like annoying, but I also can't be
He's
mad at him.
traumatized. Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
because he's gone through so much, and so it's like whatever Tar does, like, I absolve him of.
yeah.
Well,
Which, I
for
mean,
the
he was
most
coerced
part,
into do what he was doing anyway, so.
Yeah, he was. And apparently there's video evidence, but like the reason why that's kind of like the blackmail, because I guess in the video it like looks consensual even though it's not. And so I think Long was like, if you don't break up with Tarn, I will like send the video to him, and then it'll seem like you cheated on him with like a bunch of guys.
Mhm.
So that was kind of that whole story there. And so Type is like confronting him about it, and Long is like kind of like admitting it. Like, he's like, "Oh, well, what are you going to do about it? Like, you don't have any proof. Like, he's never going to believe you." And then No and Champ, they are standing nearby, and they're like recording this situation like secretly. So this was kind of their plan, I guess, to get the evidence. And Type gets the shit kicked out of him by Long, pretty much. Um, but he shows Long like that he's also recording their conversation. And instead of trying to like take his phone, Long straight up tries to like kill him with like a large rock.
Crazy.
Like, it's like a broken cinder block. He's like, "I'm gonna go for this instead."
Like, they're literally in the middle of a street in a neighborhood.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I know that someone else is recording them too, but he doesn't know that, so I don't know why he wouldn't have just tried to like take the phone or something.
Right? Like,
Because it's not like he was on call with Tarn or
yeah.
anything. It was like a recording. But I don't know.
Mhm.
Long's evil. I guess that's the explanation.
Yeah. It's just the crazy, like, jump to go from, like, already, like, beating the shit out of him, but, like, to go from
Mhm.
that to, like, "I'm gonna murder you with a rock right now," like,
Yeah,
dude.
I was having 4 minutes flashbacks,
Yeah.
and I was kind of laughing though because No was like, before when he was getting punched, he was like, "Should we intervene? Like, like, should we go in and help or whatever?" But once the rock thing is about to happen, um, No, Champ, and Tarn also has showed up, and they all intervene in time, and Type does not get his skull bashed in. So,
Thank God.
small victories. And Tarn then punches Long and they talk about all of this stuff and basically like also find out that Long is the reason for the 2-month curse because he was the one who was like lying to all of Tarn's partners saying that he was like cheating on them and stuff, and so that's why Tarn hasn't had any good relationships. It's just because of Long, pretty much. Like he's the reason why like everyone's broken up with him, but he thought it was like himself as like a person, so that's why he has such a bad, complex about it.
Yeah, this is so fucked up.
It is.
Like, Long is
All of
such a
them are
villain.
fucked up. Uh, they all need just like an immense amount of therapy.
Mm-hmm.
And Tarn, he feels guilty about the Tar situation. He just like feels guilty in general, even though it's like, it's not his fault. He couldn't have known, but he feels bad about it. And he like quits the band because that's the most important thing.
Yeah, right. That's such a weird thing to like take a notice of, like at that moment.
I know. Yeah. It's like I know a couple weeks back I was talking about the reality show Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, and like constantly in the show like something crazy would happen, like there'd be like adultery, but then they'd be like, but what about mom talk, which is like their TikTok account. And that just kind of reminds me of that, where it's like something crazy happens, but it's like, but what about the band? And eventually so Long goes home and he cries and about how like no one loves him. But his like sister's there. She just came back from abroad and she's like, I love you. I didn't know you felt this way. But like Long should be in prison.
Right? The fact that like they didn't go up with, there's so much of the show that people should have ended up with the cops. But like attempted murder, pretty high up there.
Yeah, attempted murder and he
Coordinating a gang rape, like
yeah, especially like of a minor.
yeah, like
Like
come on.
bro, go to prison. I don't like how they tried to make us feel bad for him at the end here.
No, I didn't feel any kind of bad for him.
No, I was like, bro, you should have like there's no redeeming this. I don't like that they even tried to make us feel sympathy for him cuz
Nope.
literally go to prison. And then so TharnType, they are back together. I apparently so what happened is that Tarn when Type confronted Tar when they like ambushed him that one time, Tar ended up like telling him everything because he's like, whatever, I'm gonna study abroad soon. Like, so he told him about, the past. So throughout this last while, like, Type has known about like what Long did and all of this stuff. And so I guess he like when him and Long went to the bar and were drinking and he got super drunk, he was actually pretending so that Long would like spill things. And so what he ended up finding out is that like when he mentioned Tarn, like the way that like Long, like his expression and stuff, like Type could tell that the reason why he was doing this is because he was in love with Tarn. Whew, okay. And then
Ike is way smarter than he lets on
he is.
suddenly.
Honestly, he's the only one in the show who's like come up with a decent plan.
Mhm.
And the reason why that Tarn he came and showed up on scene when he did is because when Type and Torn met up, Type told him like all of the stuff as well, and then Torn ended up telling Tarn, which I don't know how I don't know. I guess he knew about the plan, but yeah. So it's a little convoluted, but I guess it makes sense. And Type finally says, I love you, which I think it's his first time he's said that. And Tar is going to go study abroad in France. He's getting out of there. And he gives like a drawing as like a present to his brother. And it's like an it's like a drawing of them, but honestly, I felt like it looked nothing like them.
Yeah, it was just a random drawing of two dudes.
It was. They just like found it on like DeviantArt or something. It was like two anime dudes. I was like, this is not the two of you. Um, and then they like flirt a little more. So, yeah, those are the
Yeah.
brothers. And we go to the bar, and he's doing like an acoustic song because he doesn't have the band anymore. And it's like the whole song. So I'm not gonna lie, I just kind of fast forwarded through.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah, no, no hate to anyone in Thai shows who do a performance, but miss me with that guitar shit. Especially at this point, I was like so close to the finish line. I was like, okay, we're almost there.
Yeah, I've been through so many of these guitar scenes now that I can't do it.
Yeah. And Long ends up showing up, but he's like in the back and he like listens and no one sees him and then he just cries and leaves and bitch, get out of here. Never want
Yeah.
to see you again. Like literally, I keep saying it, but he should be in prison.
Yeah, 100%.
Like he's horrific. Like everything everyone else does is like bad and problematic and icky, but like what he's like literally a horrible, terrible person. But then 3 years later we get like a little epilogue. Tarn and Type, they're like gonna go on a date, but they're like completely twinning. Like they're wearing like the exact same outfit. And it's like a simple outfit, but it was kind of cracking me up because they just look the same. Um, and then we run into Saint, like the actor. He's there for a second. I kind of missed how he knew Tarn and Type, but
I didn't
he
get that either.
no, he knows them, and he's like, "Oh, do you mind if I ask if you're together?" And they just kind of like smile and laugh, and I don't know. They seem happy together at that point, so that's good. Um, yeah, and that's how it ends. That's TharnType. Hope you enjoyed, because we didn't.
That was like with every episode watch, we'd be like in the DMs going, "What?
Yeah.
Why are we watching this?"
Uh, it's not for me. It's like fucked up in a way where I don't enjoy. Cause
Yeah.
like we've mentioned plenty of times, we love the show, My Stand-In. That's a fucked up show, but it's like done well, and it's like, or, and like Kin Porsche, that's another really fucked up show, but like they don't try to make it seem good and normal and healthy, I feel like,
Yeah.
you
No,
know.
it's meant to be fucked up.
Yeah.
And
This one was just like, oh yeah, here we have Long doing the most heinous, terrible crimes of all time, but yet we're supposed to feel bad for him at the end. And I'm just like, I don't like the messaging. I don't know. I don't like the story. It just like, I don't know, made me feel icky.
me too.
Yeah, some
So
final thoughts I had. First of all, the amount of skinny jeans in this show was appalling. I could I was so freaking distracted the whole time because every character is wearing the tightest pair of skinny jeans you will ever see.
which weren't we over skinny jeans by 2019?
Yes. I don't think that I mean, I don't know when they filmed this show, but between the skinny jeans and the K-pop 2011 hair, it was crazy.
Maybe this was really set in like the early 2010s.
Yeah, that's my headcanon because there's no way you can justify those fugly skinny jeans that everyone was wearing the whole time.
I I still kind of like skinny jeans. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean that's fine, but the ones that specifically like Mew was wearing were so bad. Like they were like the
The-
multicolor ones.
yeah,
And they were just like they were so tight. Like it was just I don't know. It wasn't a look. I'll be honest.
yeah, it was something.
No offense to skinny jeans or the wearers in the world, but in this show specifically, it was like it was kind of I feel like when I watch Thai shows, normally they're wearing like, looser clothing or like shorts sometimes, but this like their wardrobe was like only skinny jeans to the point where it was like distracting.
Yeah. Or Type was in his soccer gear at random.
Oh yeah. He was sometimes. Also we mentioned this a bunch, but like Techno literally carried the whole show.
Mhm. I love
Yeah.
him.
I do too. He made it bearable, I'll say.
Yeah. Honestly, so much would have gone so much worse without him.
It would have. We needed his like he's just like mediating the whole show.
Mhm.
And also I really didn't need the three evil ex-boyfriend twists. Like at some point I was like, is this like Scott Pilgrim? Like like I was like I saw San, I was like, oh, he's gonna be the villain, and then he just like disappeared. And then I was like, oh, Tar's the villain, but then it was like, no, Long's the villain. It was too
Yeah.
many fake outs.
I think we could have just skipped the San arc
Me
completely.
too. I
Like
agree. I don't know why that needed to be there at all.
I guess so they would have 12 episodes. Um
I guess so, yeah.
but yeah, no. I definitely we didn't need him. Like the other parts made sense, right? Because they
Yeah.
tied together, but like what?
Mhm.
I will say Type's face just made me angry all 12 episodes because he was constantly had that angry face and then he has
Yeah.
like the really expressive like bushy eyebrows so it just kind of like exasperated the whole angry face.
Yeah, he truly scowled the whole show.
He did. Like at one point even no, like multiple times was like your face could kill somebody. Like
Yeah.
and I was like
Yeah, No kept commenting about it as well, so I'm like, at least they're kind of self-aware, I guess.
yeah, it was a bit much.
Yeah, I agree.
And then did we ever get closure on So and Chloe? Like
Um,
did
no, I think they were at the bar during the acoustic set, but I don't know. I don't remember them hinting at all at like their relationship.
I I needed them together.
I know. They were okay, so if we were to do like a tally of gay men on the show who weren't predators, it's literally just So and Com. And then we don't know about um Chloe if he was gay or not. But
Yeah. I will say in defense of Tar, everything he did was
mhm.
because he was being blackmailed.
That's true. I'll give Tara a pass as well.
So
I
I
mean, it
think he
wasn't
was
good when he like, was straddling Tarn in bed and being like,
he was
"We need to get
blackmailed to
back
do all that though.
together." That's true. Yeah,
Like all of that was because of Long.
Tar gets a pass. And I mean, I guess Type gets a pass too, kind of, because he didn't really do
I mean,
anything
he didn't say
too
anybody. He just
crazy.
was
Yeah.
homophobic.
But also he was like, "I'm not gay," so I guess we
Yeah.
don't have to count him anyway. I don't know.
I'm not gay. It's only for Tarn.
It's he was also like, I don't like men, and I don't know. I also don't like women. I just like you. And you know what? I kind of respect that commitment.
Yeah.
you know? Like I'm not gay. I'm also not straight. I don't know what's going on, but I like you.
It's a valid reaction to be honest.
Yeah. It honestly makes I don't know why, but in my head it makes more sense than like, oh, I don't like men, but I like just that one particular man in the world.
Mhm.
I don't know.
And then I have a bone to pick with people who have watched the show.
Mm.
On my drama list, this has a 7.6 rating, and on Viki, it has a 9.6. And there's like
Yeah.
70,000 votes on Viki. What are y'all thinking?
I don't know. Once again, I kind of feel like it's a nostalgia thing. Like, I mean,
It
this is
has to
back when,
be.
like, before this, it was like, SOTUS was the only show to watch, and that one is negative on the spice scale. Like,
Yeah.
and so I'm thinking maybe this show came out and people were like, oh my God, like, they are portraying a gay relationship as like not super like sanitized or whatever, but like I don't know. I also think some people are just like think it's hot. So,
I guess. I just from like the end of the first episode where Tarn like assaults like type, I was already done.
Yeah.
So I voted for a 1. Just gonna put that out there.
Mm. I gave it a 3.5, which I feel like my ratings that's the lowest I've ever given a show ever. I feel
Yeah.
like my ratings are normally kind of high because I was like, I don't know.
Yeah, I
But
think the lowest rating I normally give is like a 7.
me too.
Because it's a lot of times I'm like, I didn't like it because the plot wasn't for me, not because of anything else, right? Like even when
Yeah.
it's something like really campy, like OMG Vampire, I'm like, was it a good show? Maybe not, but I had a good time watching it, so it's gonna get a higher vote than it normally would. But no, this just made me mad.
I know, especially because another show that we've enjoyed and we've done an episode on, which is 1,000 Years Old. We really like that show, but it has a 6.3 on my drama list, which is more than a point lower than TharnType. And that show is just like fun and campy and silly and cute, you know?
Mhm.
And and so I
Yeah.
don't know, just like compare. I mean, they're very different shows, but comparing them, it's like, guys, what are we doing?
Yeah, I would much rather watch like 1,000 Years Old like on repeat before I watch this ever again.
I
Um,
agree. Yeah. I listen, if you're a fan of the show, let us know what you like about it. Like, I mean, no judgment. I guess,
no.
you're entitled to
Yeah.
like whatever you like, and like that's totally fine. I'm sure there are valid reasons to like the show. It was just for me, the negatives just so strongly outweighed any of the positives. It's like kind of hard for me to, you know, say nice things.
Yeah, because like, okay, so we skipped over a lot of the fluffy moments, but like, I will
Mhm.
say when like there were a lot of scenes where like Tarn and Type were just like laying in bed and just like existing, and
Yeah.
honestly, those scenes were really cute.
Those were the
And
best parts of the show. That's why I
yeah,
liked episode like 5 through like 8 because it was actually like a cute relationship and I was like, "Oh, this would be nice."
right? Like there was a lot of their banter back and forth, but it was like it was fine, but it was one of those where I was like, okay, but the foundation of this relationship isn't good. And then it takes me right back out of it.
Yeah, I agree. I'm glad that like obviously of course when it came out in 2019 it was a different time and it was probably a lot more like I don't want to say like
Yeah.
progressive, but like in a sense like when queer relationships weren't being shown at all in the media, it was something. It was like a type of representation, you know.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
but like, so I can't, I don't want to take that away from it, like in its achievements, and obviously it was a huge success. But like today, I am glad that shows have kind of moved away from this type of dynamic and, you know, non-con.
Yeah, I don't think I've watched anything else that is like this, where it's like there's enemies to lovers, but like not in this sense, where
Mhm.
there's non-con, as you said.
Yeah, I'd agree.
So if you've watched season 2, 7 years later or whatever it's called, and it's worth watching, also let us know that because
Yeah.
I don't know if we have enough people tell us it's actually worth something, maybe I'll watch it.
Yeah, I just have a feeling I'm just gonna be like pissed off again. But yeah, let us know.
Hmm.
Because I think so there's a season 2 and then there's also a couple special.
I think so.
Yeah,
Not
so
entirely sure.
oh my god, there's a special for Long Story.
No.
Bro.
No, thank you.
Yeah, if it doesn't end with him dying or going to prison, I'm gonna literally gonna riot.
Yeah. We do get the wedding day.
Oh, they get married.
Yeah.
Wow. Hope their marriage works out for them.
Yeah. So, good luck.
Yep.
But yeah. Well, I guess that wraps season 1.
Yeah, it does. It's
Oh,
been crazy, honestly.
it really has. There's been a lot that's happened.
Yeah.
But we won't be completely gone. We'll be on social media probably and always in the Discord. You can find us on our socials on Instagram and TikTok at bl.in.the.air. On Twitter at blintheair. Our Discord invite link is always in the link tree on any of our socials. And of course, we're streaming wherever you're currently listening. And again, we have the listener support thing on Spotify. If you feel like it, no obligation. We will catch you in season 2.
Yes. See you then.
Bye.
Bye.